Mike O'Shea. Well, they cheer for him, nominated as the outstanding Canadian in this football league. They're Tiger Cat fans. It's a day with patches of blue, as it should be. Football weather here in southern Ontario, 8 degrees Celsius. There's a brisk wind blowing out of the south, mostly cloudy, but the Canadian flag flies proudly as the Argonauts take on the Tiger Cats. Let's go upstairs and join Chris Cuthbert and Chris Walby. Guys.
Scott, we've had a couple of rain showers blow through already. Jim Barker did mention that he preferred good weather for his kicking game and a game of field position. 9-9 in this, his rookie year as a head coach, and his first playoff game as the man calling the shots. His message today: maximize what the Argos do well, minimize what they do well. He'll be up against one of the masters, Ronnie Lancaster, 9th straight year. Double-digit win totals for him as a head coach, and he liked the way his team finished the year with that win over Calgary last week. The game didn't mean anything, but boy, they played as if it did.
You know what, Chris? They came back in the second half. It's the first time they've done it this year. That's what he's excited about. See Jay Barker right there about to enter the game, his first CFL playoff action game. Excited, knows it rests on his shoulder, and is welcome to the challenge.
Won the 92 NCAA championship with Alabama, and Danny McManus already taking a seat. He's a low-key guy with big numbers on the year, team records in completions and passing yardage. He's an Eastern All-Star for the first time. The Argos win the toss and defer, so it looks like the Argos will have the wind in the fourth quarter, and they'll end up with the football to start this game. And the ball blows off the tee, an indication of how strong the gusts are. So Ron Lancaster wants the wind at his offense's back in the second quarter, the long quarter.
Well, the second quarter, but I think the big thing about this toss, if it's a close game, remember, Toronto will have the choice when they come out at the second half, and they can take the win in the fourth quarter. And as you say, we saw Ozzie kick a 62-yard field goal with the wind in warm-ups.
Ryan Terry and Pinball are deep, but the ball won't get deep, and it's on the carpet. Alertly picked up, however, by one of the up men, Fred Perry, a linebacker who actually was a punt returner in college. That's an unusual combination, but an alert play by Perry to maintain possession for the Toronto Argonauts.
Well, big time. The ball bounced up and came down. The wind caught it, pushed it down. Fred Perry, as you say, Johnny in a spot. Jay Barker at the helm. Ryan Terry and Big Tony Burst in the backfield, and you look for him to do a lot of block and help that offensive line. Receivers, step up, Atasic in there, Andre Kerwin and Mazzotti on the outside, and the guy they got to use, Daryl Mitchell in the middle. On the offensive line, Gioskis taking over for Chad Folk.
Oh, they're pulling out all the stops already. Jim Ballard, the number 3 man, in to start the game. And a little toss back, and it's stuck. You can tell the Cats weren't fooled by that Daryl Mitchell carry, and there's Barker, who the Argos have told us all week will start, and I'm sure we'll see him once this game gets underway. But the Argos do some different things with that jumbo offense. Adrian Smith will line up at quarterback at times too.
Well, I think the fact that they got Jim Ballard in there is the fact that they can throw on this. Yeah, they like to run majority of the times, but when you got a real quarterback back there, look for him to air the football out.
Jumbo alignment, Maxey the fullback, and it's not going anywhere. Joe Montfort, the sackmaster, back at the 40-yard line, and if they were trying to fool the Cats, it didn't work.
Well, you know what I say, the way you fool the Cats is you throw the football. You got a quarterback there. Look at, you got all these guys, 8 guys on the line of scrimmage. What happens is then you got all the Hamilton Tiger Cats inside the box. There's 8 of them there. Nobody's being fooled. Joe Montfort does a nice job of staying with his read, staying with his pass rush, and takes him down for a no gain and a big loss, actually.
Prefontaine, who's got the heaviest leg in the Canadian Football League anyway, has that big wind behind him, doesn't take advantage of it. That ball may have been tipped by the Cats. Tony Akins with the return, and a good one up near the 39-yard line. They want to get Prefontaine an opportunity to get field position for them, but just a 45-yarder with a stiff breeze at his back.
Well, stiff breeze, as you say, Chris, but it sounded to us way up here in the booth, and I know the wind is swirling, that it was tipped a little bit, because that is not a Prefontaine-type punt. You see Danny McManus with his cohorts, Ronald Williams, Archie Amerson in the running back position, but look for him to catch more passes. The receiving core, a good one. Grant Morielli, Darren Flutie's favorite target, and Andrew Grigg at wideout. And of course, that big offensive line, it's only surrendered 7 quarterback sacks all year, led by the center, Carl Coulter, and the tackle, Dave Howe.
3 guys on the right side, all All-Stars, and McManus will go right to work. Over the middle, Archie Emerson, short gain to the 44. It's a pickup of 5. Of course, Ron Lancaster was telling me in a game against Saskatchewan this year, they started against a very stiff breeze like this one, and McManus tossed the ball, drove the ball right down the field through the air, and it really broke the backs of the Riders.
Well, these guys up front are going to have to do the job. Haley Maxey in the middle. Max we'll talk about later. O'Shea, the captain of the defense. Kelly Wiltshire and Martavius Houston, an upcoming star. Safety Alundis Bryce, Bonner Capers at the half, and the Smiths. Adrian and Donald at the corners.
2nd and 5, McManus with time and has an open receiver and a first down at midfield. Old reliable Darren Flutie as his first catch of this Eastern semifinal.
Well, they bring Michael Shea in a blitz. When you bring the middle linebacker in a blitz, there's going to be an opening in the secondary. Darren Flutie's no fool. He's a smart player. He reads it. He just comes back inside of Donald Smith, finds the opening. Danny Mack, beautiful job of delivering the football, moving the ball smartly. Good job just getting the ball. You can see Michael Shea coming free, but too little, too late.
11 yards for Flutie, a first down Hamilton near midfield, and there's another completion to Flutie. And another first down at the Argo 41, so McManus ignoring the breeze and going to a favorite target.
Boy, if you could do something to Toronto's defense right now, it's going into the breeze and shoving it down their throat via the air, and that's exactly what Danny McManus is doing right now. Another nice job of Darren Flutie finding the opening, slanting in, but what you really got to be impressed with is the crispness of the throws by Danny Mack. He is right on the money into the stiff breeze.
22 of those catches were against the Argos, including 2 touchdowns. Cats on the move, and here's Ron Williams trying the left side, stretching it out, and Price will ease him out of bounds at the 37. It's a gain of 4 to 5 yards for Williams.
And a nice job of mixing it up. You get the run involved now. If you come out, you throw 3 consecutive passes, a dump off and 2 to Flutie. Now you give it to Williams. Give it to your horseback. Get him. He wants to take it inside. Reads the tackle's job. Does a nice job of breaking it outside. As you say, Alundis Bryce with the eventual push out. But a nice job of mixing it up, getting good yardage on the first down.
Ron Williams 4th in rushing yardage this year, over 1,000. Another reason why that Hamilton offensive line has been earning rave reviews. 2nd and 5, and a time count violation, I believe. Cats don't get the playoff.
Well, as we listen to the referee make the call, then
illegal procedure. Hamilton 62. 2nd down repeated.
Well, Tim Prince in the left guard jumps a little early. Remember, this is a playoff game. Winner takes all, loser goes home. And I tell you what, they are as coiled, as tightly as you can possibly imagine right now. Talking to Donald Smith, the cornerback of the Toronto Argonauts today, he says to me, we want to dominate by intimidation. So we're going to see a lot of after play altercations, a little bit of shoving.
2nd and 10 play doesn't get off now. And those fast twitch fibers working overtime.
Time count violation. Hamilton 14, still 2nd down.
This time it is a time count violation. Now we'll go to 2nd and 15.
And that might just be Danny Mack seeing something, trying to change the play. Remember, when the wind is blowing, it's harder to get your cadence or your audible out so everybody can hear it. It takes more time for the receivers in the line to relay it out to the outside receivers.
Now works out of the shotgun. Here comes the blitz, and that ball falls incomplete. Archie Emerson looked like the intended receiver, but that ball was 10 yards too far.
Well, a nice job of Toronto's defense. They had great success the first time they played this year by putting a lot of pressure on Danny Mack. It's the only game that Danny Mack was off. Didn't throw for a touchdown pass that game through. Instead, 2 interceptions. They came after him early and often. They're doing the same thing right now. He started strong with 3 completions in a row. The last 2, they brought some pressure. He's thrown it away from the receiver where it can't be completed.
Ball back at the 46. Those back-to-back penalties cost them perhaps a field goal opportunity. It would be, but for 53 yards now, and they're not going to try it into the wind. Instead, Osbaldiston back to punt. Line drive. And pinball. Picked it up at the 10. And squirts out to the 16. So a promising Ticat drive ends with a couple of penalties. And the Argos take over deep in their own zone.
Bit of a twist the first time the Toronto Argonauts handled the ball in this Eastern semifinal. There's Jim Ballard. He was the quarterback in a jumbo formation. They call it the Argo offense. A lot of misdirection going on in the backfield. The Argo staff said, we were trying to fool somebody. Didn't end up fooling anybody, said Jim Barker, the head coach. So now you'll see Jay Barker in at quarterback for the Argonauts. He'll make his first postseason appearance at quarterback in the CFL, guys.
You know, that jumbo offense has been criticized. The defense is they don't feel the defense has time in a week to prepare for everything, so give them something different to look at. But clearly that wasn't going anywhere. Now Tony Burse straight ahead, maybe a yard or two for the big fullback of the Toronto Argos.
Well, nice job of Calvin Tagle picking up where he did last time, making the play. The defensive line of the Hamilton Tiger Cats led by the sackmaster Joel Montford with 26 sacks. Bill Breck back in the lineup. Mike Campbell, Tim Terry playing the other end. The linebacking crew, Tagle, McGriggs, and Higgins, one of the best in the CFL. And the secondary led by the ever-present, the hard-hitting Rob Hitchcock, Gerald Vaughn and Shelley at a half, and Steinhauer and Prater at the quarterback positions.
They gave Burse 3. It's 2nd and 7 Argos. Ryan Terry cuts back and gets to the 23. Just 3 on the play for Terry, who rested an ankle last week, did not play in the season finale against the Edmonton Eskimos.
Well, they have to use this guy. Here's a guy that rushed for over 762 yards during the season, had some big games. He is a game breaker. He's got great moves. He's a shake and baker. Doesn't really run hard north south right off the bat. He likes to make people miss. But you got a great compliment with him and Tony Burse in the backfield. Use it. I just want to see them open up the game a little bit, especially when they got the win, Chris. Don't play safe right now.
Here's Prefontaine, his second punt of the game. And again, not a particularly good one. Amerson charged it, and he's across midfield. And a flag goes down after the play, but the field position game the Argos were hoping to play, not working early in Hamilton. Scoreless in the first quarter at Iverwin Stadium. We expected Noel Prefontaine to benefit from the wind at his back. Just a 36-yarder, Chris.
Well, again, both times he's kicked with the wind. What people don't understand, everybody thinks that kicking into the wind is a battle. But also, anybody that's ever punted a football, as you're dropping the football for your foot to make contact with the ball, the wind will push the football away from your foot. Therefore, the drop of the ball to your foot is extremely important. And they both have gotten away on the first 2 kicks from Noel Prefontaine.
Prefontaine, the better regular season stats, but Oz is a veteran. And he's kicked in many conditions like this. No infraction on the play, so Hamilton has the ball at the Argo 53. Ronald Williams rumbling to the 40. First down on the ground for the Cats.
And I tell you what, Chris, something happened this week that we're going to go into a little bit later, but comments were made about the ineffectiveness of this offensive line of Hamilton. They weren't athletes. These guys have taken it as a personal challenge to try and knock everybody on their backside, and they came off the line of scrimmage on that play, opened a huge hole for Ronald Williams.
Demetrius Maxey made the comments, and they were tacked up in the lockers of every offensive lineman of the Cats. An out and a catch by Mike Moriali at the 35, a gain of 5 for the top Canadian in the league in 1998.
Well, the big thing that I like, Chris, is, I mean, quote unquote, their offensive line, Demetrius Maxey speaking, can think they're doing a great job, but they ain't doing anything. And they use a different word that I can't see on TV. I've got no respect for them. They're not athletes. Now, Dave Hack is one of these guys who's taken a personal affront by this statement by Demetrius Maxey, and it's a war in that trench right now, and they'll be looking for number 91 of the Toronto Argonauts.
2nd and 5. Quick hitter inside, and Flutie can't come up with it. Ticats looking for a flag, but none was thrown. And a fine play by Byron Capers.
That was a pretty close one there, Chris. It almost looked like Byron Capers came in there and knocked Flutie's hands down before he could catch the football. You can see Maxey and the boys working over right now. No love lost between these two guys. They played each other during the season 3 times. This one's for all the marbles. You know they're not going to leave anything in the locker room.
Ball's at the 35, 3rd down, and the Cats electing not to try a 42-yard field goal into the wind. Instead, Osbaldiston will punt. Again, we saw him kicking over 60-yard field goals with the wind. But they're trying to pin the Argos deep here. Ball bouncing out around the 10. They'll mark it just inside the 10-yard line. And again, the Argos will have a long field to play on. Chris, when I talked to Jim Barker earlier this week, this is exactly the kind of game he wanted to be in, except Hamilton's executing his game plan, backing up the Argos.
The only thing I didn't like about his comments was he was playing not to lose. I don't believe he was playing to win.
First down deep. Flag goes down. Terry tries the left side. Nothing doing. And this Cat defense is stoked up early.
Well, they're running the ball. They said they were going to come out here and try and dominate the line of scrimmage. Coach Ron Lancaster, on the other hand, the Hamilton head coach, said, we have to control the line of scrimmage. Right now, they are doing that. They are dominating Toronto's offensive line. I think that Barker has got to start.
Toronto 14. Declined. 2nd down.
They have got to start throwing the football. Stretch it out a little bit. Get the linebacking crew of Hamilton to back up a little bit. Right now, they're playing a yard off the line of scrimmage, right behind the defensive line. You're not going to have any run success with the linebackers that tight to the line of scrimmage.
Stefan Potasic, the slot back was offside. Cats decline. Barker looks at 2nd and 10. Still hasn't thrown the ball, and here's Burse up to the 17-yard line, but he'll be 3 yards short. And another punting situation for the Argonauts.
Well, nice job of the offensive line. You can see Chris Jaskos, 58. He's played tackle this year. He's played guard, and now he's got a good sandwich. Nice little hold there on Lamar McGrish. He's lucky he didn't get called on that one. People don't understand how hard it is to make the transition from tackle to guard. But I tell you what, when you're making it from guard to center, where you got to make all the calls, he's got to let all the rest of his teammates know what defensive front he's facing. That's a big task for a guy that hasn't played there all year.
Fontaine, the left footer, better punt, and Aikens dropped the ball and has to quickly recover at his own 47-yard line. Still just a 44-yarder by Prefontaine,
fielded by Aiken,
who has not
on the tackle.
Been up near his average yet, a 47-7 on the year.
I would expect that as time goes on, depending on the length of the quarter and the time that Toronto has to punt with the wind, that he'll start making adjustments and pulling the ball a little tighter to his foot, and you might start seeing him catch a few of these footballs and boom it. He's got an 88-yarder this year, so he can definitely get contact with these guys.
Danny McManus goes back to work from the Hamilton 48. Williams running into the teeth of that Argo defense, which was ranked number 2 against the run. Only Montreal had a better run defense on the season.
Dunbrack with the tackle.
Well, they're going to come out. Both teams are going to do it. You can see there's a 4-man rush. Roger Dunbrack at the top of your screen gets cut. It's a deep handoff. The only thing about when you're going to do a cut block on a defensive end, it's only a temporary block because the defensive end will get back on his feet. When you hand the ball that deep to Ronald Williams, excuse me, it allows the defender to get back up as he did on that play and stop it for a short gain.
Good first down production, 5 yards for Williams, who has 21 on 3 carries already. 2nd and 5, McManus, quick out, nearly picked off by the veteran Donald Smith. Great break on the football, but just couldn't reel it in.
Donald Smith played this like the veteran he is. Sat back there, read the quarterback's eyes, saw Danny Mack was going to throw the out, and jumped right on it, and should have came back. He's looking right now. He looks right there. He's going right toward the receiver. Predetermined. Donald Smith sees it, makes a great break in the ball, and very fortunate for Hamilton, he didn't come back out with the football.
So 3rd down, and 3 men have dropped deep for the Argonauts to help field the ball in the wind. A little more unpredictable coming off the foot of Osbaldiston. Line drive, pinball. And pinball up to the 31, best field position for the Argos since the opening kickoff, a 33-yard punt by Oz. Calvin Tiggle, the undisputed leader of that Hamilton defense, and he straps on the helmet even tighter when he gets set to face Tony Burse.
It's a big one. Last time we played, Burse and I had some words with each other, but you know, you're going to have that in a game situation because he's a competitor, and I'm a competitor, and he's going to look for me, and I'm going to be looking for him.
You got to love the soft-spoken guys that play mean.
That's almost an oxymoron right there.
There's Barker swinging it out, and incomplete. He fired that one past Ryan Terry's helmet.
Well, at least they're trying to throw the football. You've got to get out of that running mode. And that's hard for me as an offensive lineman to say because I love running the football, but you can't live on it all either. You got to start throwing the football and stretch this Hamilton defense vertically. We talked about the fact they got to start getting Mookie Mitchell the ball. They haven't even looked at him yet.
Boy, Ron Lancaster said, make them wait as long as possible to get their first down. He must have known something. It's taken a while. And Terry's not going to get it here. Tripped up by Joe Hagens and company. And another 2-and-out, the fourth straight for the Argos.
Hamilton's concept on defense is they're going to bring everybody. Lamar Rodriguez at the bottom of your screen. Joe Hagens, the other side linebacker, number 15, on the top of your screen. Everybody's coming. They're dropping Tiggle, the middle linebacker, but they're bringing pressure on the outside. You got to change it up. As an inexperienced quarterback, Barker's got to try and get some guidance on the sideline with Jimmy Kemp and the offensive coordinator to make adjustments to see that.
They block the punt. It's on the ground. The Argos get back on it, but the punt is blocked by Gerald Vaughn, I believe. That's his second punt block of the year. And the first big play of the game goes Hamilton's way. Well, they came close on the first punt of the game, and this time they get to Prefontaine.
Well, working against Mike O'Shea, the up back, just trying to take him to the outside, but that's total effort by Gerald Vaughn.
The ball was dribbled by the Toronto player. It is first down, Hamilton.
Getting back to what I said, Chris, it's just total second effort by Gerald Vaughn. Look at him fighting around the block and putting the paw out there, getting it in the direction of the football where it's being kicked and blocking it, and as you say, creating the first big turnover of the football game for these Hamilton Tiger Cats.
He had a touchdown Labor Day on an interception. He led the CFL in interceptions and has his second kick block of the year, and Hamilton in striking range at the 34. Ronald Williams left side, cuts back, ran into Demetrius Maxey, but again, Williams getting valuable real estate on first down as Williams exchanges pleasantries with Maxey.
Well, they may be pleasantries, but he wants to run right over him. Again, it's just a slide protection. By that I mean the offensive line's going to take one step to the left, get on their man and hook him, let Ronald Williams find the hole, and he does a great job of finding it and picking up 7 yards on a first down carry.
Game out of last week's game with a bad ankle, rested in the second half. Looks fine today. Got it again on second down. Great second effort, and he gets the first down. He ran through a tackle that would have stopped him short of the first down stick.
Well, as you say, this is second effort. This is determination. This is smelling the first down marker. Ronald Williams is stopped short initially. The offensive line comes off, does initially a good job. Toronto's defense so comes off it. You can see Demetrius Maxey tries to spin and make the play, but Ronald Williams keeps his legs driving. That's something you just can't teach a back. That's God-given. He does a nice job of picking up the first down.
He ran out of the grasp of Kelly Wiltshire, and that doesn't happen very often. Down to the 22, first down, 3 receivers for the wide side, but Williams has it. And this time, the hole up the middle closed quickly. Adrian Smith in the midst of that from his cornerback position.
Anytime your cornerback is coming in there, you're recognizing a formation. They're recognizing it's probably going to be the odds of running the football. Nice job, as you say, though, of Adrian coming in and making the play. You can see touchdown leader, Ronald Williams, 15 for the year, followed by Mike Pringle, Curtis Mayfield with 12, Drummond, BC, and Calvin Anderson with Calgary with 11 touchdowns on the year.
Extra O-lineman for Hamilton. Looks like Adrian Smith has switched spots with Alundis Price and is at safety. Here's a pass, Averson, touchdown!
Well, I tell you what, Chris, you hit it right on the head. Alundis Price and Adrian Smith switched position. Alundis went to the corner, Adrian Smith came to safety. You can't do that in this kind of a game. What happens? You get a communication breakdown. Nobody picks Archie Amerson coming out of the backfield. He is wide open, and it's an easy touchdown, easy toss for Danny Mack. And Hamilton goes on the board first. 6-0, 7 to follow shortly with the Aussie convert.
If the Argos have used that defensive alignment this year, I certainly don't remember it, and it cost them as Averson has a 17-yard touchdown grab. And valuable points against the win for the Tiger Cats.
And Chris, even more important, we talked all week, and Toronto said we want to keep things simple. We don't want to try and make things too complicated for our team. Go out there, do the basic things well, and we'll be okay. We've seen them come out and start the football game running a jumbo offense that fooled actually nobody. And then they come out, and now they switch the quarterback into safety, creating confusion among their own people, but it results in a touchdown. See, Danny Mack just going to sit back there and toss it over there. Fred Perry's back there, but nobody. Look at Donald Smith. There's the safety, Adrian Smith. Nobody picks him up. He runs past four people. Four people look at each other on the white jerseys of the Toronto Argonauts and say, who is supposed to get him? I don't think I got him. Must be the next guy. Well, as it turns out, nobody's got him, and it's a touchdown.
Archie Amerson had 5 touchdown receptions during the regular season, so he's had a chance to work on the dance. And remember, all this set up by Gerald Vaughn's punt block, and Hamilton draws first blood at Ivor Wynn.
Well, you're right, Chris. The key play, obviously, the block by Gerald Vaughn. But we talked earlier about gambling, the gambling defense of the Toronto Argonauts, and the things they like to do. And here they come out again. They switch positions, and they get burned by it.
Here's Gary Etcheverry, who is the defensive coordinator. And again, this is the top-rated unit in the CFL. Pinball takes it out of the hands of Ryan Terry. And he's tripped up as he tried to get outside Joe Higgins with a key tackle on special teams. Well, are we watching pinball for the final time?
Well, you got to wonder. After you I think that you hit it on the head, though, Chris, when you said his wife said he hasn't got football out of his blood yet. I think that they usually are the best indicators of whether someone will come back or not.
Paul Mazzotti also entering what could be his final playoff year. Here's the hitch pass, Andre Kerwin with the catch, but drilled back by defensive end Tim Terry, who I know caught your eye from the first time he suited up.
Well, they call him a mini clone of Joe Montford on the other side. He plays the backside end, and he does his job so well that Coach Lancaster said, you know what, if Gonzalo Floyd was able to play, he probably couldn't push this kid out of the lineup. This guy's just doing it all for him right now. And when you get the kind of pressure you're getting from Montford on one side, and you got an up-and-comer by Tim Terry on the other side, boy, you got a force.
First completion of the game, nets just 2 yards. It's been all Hamilton so far. Half minute to go, first quarter. Out of the shotgun, 2nd and 8. Barker to Mitchell, and Rob Hitchcock makes him pay the price.
Well, they're trying to go inside, right behind, trying to get some separation with Gerald Vaughn and catch the football right in front of Rob Hitchcock. Just slant him into the middle. That's what Daryl Mitchell likes to do. He takes it a little deep on this pattern. Usually he'll cut it up around 10 yards, get the football. You can see right there, he's feeling the footsteps, people. He knows that Rob Hitchcock is in his neighborhood, and he's going to come and knock it, and he does on that play, just to let him know he's there.
He saw the tapes of that Tyree Davis hit.
Oh, he definitely saw those, and he heard them, and he smelled Hitchcock's cologne.
How about that, though? Nearly a whole quarter before they went to Mitchell for the first time. Refontaine gets that one away. Again, trouble. Ball on the carpet. Argos have a shot at it. They've got the football. Toronto desperately needing a turnover, and Jim Barker finally has something to cheer about.
The ball goes up in the air, and this wind and Ivor wind is a swirling wind. The ball will go up, and all of a sudden it'll drop right down, and the wind will push it straight down. So Art Jamerson is expecting the football. You see how he plays it? But the ball all of a sudden drops short in front of him. He has to readjust, try and come up with the football. He can't. It gets away from him. Good cover by the Toronto Argonauts. As a result, causes a turnover.
Yeah, the lone snapper, J.P. Darch out of McGill, came up with the ball. And so the Argos are finally in Hamilton territory. The ball at the Cat 36. Barker to pass. Barker to run. Barker fumbles the ball, and the Cats get it back. Jay Barker stripped. Orlando Steinauer has the football.
Good hustle by the Hamilton defensive ends are just going crazy right now because what initially looks like a great play created by Jay Barker is stuffed short by the Hamilton defense.
Lamar McGreg's knocked it loose, and the Cats are on it. Argos wanted to play mistake-free football, but they've had a punt block, and now the Barker fumble hands the ball right back to Hamilton.
Well, you know, great coverage downfield, but watch the hustle. 45, I'm talking Lamar McGreg's, climbs over the back of his own player to strip that football. That's effort. That's second effort, that's third effort, that's just wanting the ball more than the other team. That's just a great job. He walks over his own teammate to strip the ball by Jay Barker. Jay Barker has got to put that ball around. You got to put the ball away. You can't carry it around like a loaf of bread out there, or you're going to have trouble.
Well, it's 7-0. Stats all Hamilton first.
Well, I mean, I think they're self-explanatory here. You look here, no first downs. You're not going to win many games like that. Of course, they get their first big turnover, and then they go back and cough it right back up here. And time of possession, definitely twice as much in the favor of the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Argos 5 2-and-outs and a fumble in the first quarter with the wind at their backs. There's Ronald Williams, straight up the middle to the 43, and again, he's getting close to 5 on first down.
Well, big time. Now, you know, Chris, I want to go back to the last thing we saw, the first quarter stat. The one time that Toronto beat Hamilton this year, they controlled the clock. The 2 times they lost, Hamilton almost doubled them on the clock. Now, it's not looking pretty for Toronto right now, as Hamilton has doubled them almost in the first quarter.
He's watching the Cats play and execute the game plan he was hoping for his side so far, but it's still awfully early and not much damage yet. 7-0 Tiger Cats. Second down, McManus looking for Corey Grant, the wideout out of Wilfrid Laurier, incomplete. So Danny McManus maybe bothered by this wind as well.
Well, that's his first throw into the wind, with the wind, excuse me, so he's had to adjust. It almost looked like it was behind Darren Flutie in front of Corey Grant. Both of them kind of looked at each other and said, well, was it for me or you? And I think, you know, Danny Mack will go back there, the veteran that he is. He'll sit on the bench, maybe have a little conference with Coach Ron Lancaster. Doesn't like to talk to him much. He likes to just figure out what he's got to do. He's got his own chess plan, and he likes to run it himself.
Osbaldiston now. First time he's had the breeze behind him. Line drive, Adrian Smith. Trouble with it, and whipped down there by Mike Moriali. Moriali says you're not going anywhere after a 42-yard punt.
7-0 Hamilton in the second quarter. Here's Chad Folk, the Argos center from Kelowna, BC, who's injured, torn ACL. But let's talk about your team not being able to move the football. What do you see?
I think everyone's a little tight out there right now. They're trying to make too many plays and just taking one play at a time. Just have to relax a little bit and just stick to the game plan. I think they'll be fine.
Your old pal Chris Giaskis has to handle the football. What have you been helping him with?
Just helping him with some reads on who to block, just different situations. If the safety's low, safety's high, might give some tendencies off a little bit. But he's a 10-year vet. He knows what he's doing. He's going to do a fine job for us.
Thanks, Chad. Good luck.
Okay, thank you very much, guys.
There's Barker rolling out and throwing. Good catch by Daryl Mitchell. Bounced off the numbers, but he managed to bring it back in for a 14-yard gain and the first down for the Argos on the day.
And a nice job of Jay Barker getting outside, not sitting back in a drop-back position trying to throw the hitch. Get outside, create some movement, room for yourself to throw the football. But great catch, great concentration by Mookie Mitchell of bringing that ball down.
At the 41, play action. Barker with Montford trying to track him down and throws incomplete. Again, Mitchell, the intended receiver.
And that pass may not have been complete, Chris, but what I do like about it is Jay Barker's getting out of the pocket. I talked about it the play before. You've got to get out of the pocket. You've got to stretch this defense. You know, if you're going to one side of the field, you're not going to have the whole 12 guys chasing you. You put your defensive backs, your cornerbacks, your linebackers in a no-win situation. Should they come up and tackle the quarterback, or do they go back and cover the receiver? You're going to give yourself more options if you stretch them that way.
That's got to be a daunting sight, having Montford looking you right in the eye. 2nd and 10. Terry stays in the block. Wide open Mitchell, and he's got the ball. Down at the 30-yard line, Rob Hitchcock came back to save a touchdown.
Well, they kept maximum protection in there. He's just working to the outside. Gerald Vaughn passes him up. Gerald Vaughn blows a coverage with the safety. Hitchcock is supposed to come over there. Vaughn has a mistake there, bunches him off, but great job of protection right here. Burse and Terry. You think they're going to worry about this? Look at this. 2 guys working on him right there, McGriggs. Maximum protection. 7 guys blocking 5.
36 yards, and again, it's a bootleg. Barker keeping, and he's close to the stick as he slides near another first down.
And one of the things they say about Jay Barker is, as the game goes on, he gets stronger. He's a guy, a lot of people thought originally that he was a guy better suited to come off the bench. Coach Jim Barker says that Jay Barker now, if you leave him in long enough, will pick up the game, recognize what he has to do, and start executing, and puts him in win situations.
Now, Scott Russell talking to Chad Folk about the offensive line. They've used 14 offensive linemen this year. This is the 4th different offensive line in 4 games against Hamilton. And talking to Jay yesterday about being a slow starter, he said, you know, it takes some time for everybody to get on the same page.
You know, and especially when you're playing in a place like Harperwood and Hamilton's home park where the fans are screaming, and you go up and, you know, you're lining up and the defense is shifting back and forth. You got guys on the offensive line who haven't played together. They've all got to be on the same page, every blocking scheme, so nobody comes free.
Well, the Argo offense is finally on the move. 2nd and inches. Just about a free play here for the Argos. And some movement there, and Parker, not sure whether he got the first down, but we'll have to sort out the penalty.
Well, if it's offside, they'll get it easily by taking the yardage on the penalty. Otherwise, they wouldn't have, because he got stopped short. But more than times than not, it's offside by the defense.
Offside, Hamilton 98, first down.
Spoken like a true offensive lineman.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Campbell was offside.
Just does a little jump, and he's doing a little roll block, and all he's trying to do is take the feet out from the offensive lineman. It's a good technique by defensive lineman, albeit just a little bit too early by Mike Campbell on that play.
The Argos have moved the ball down to the Hamilton 18-yard line. Trailing by a touchdown. 3.5 minutes into the 2nd quarter, and Jay Barker's going to use his first half timeout. Looked like he was going to audible.
Well, he was trying to change the play. He turned around, he yelled at Tony Burse, he yelled at Ryan Terry, he tried to get it out to the receiver. Remember, you only got a 20-second clock here. It's not like down south across the border, we have 45 seconds. You got 20 seconds to get that play off on your first play. If you got to change it, that's going to cut into the time you got to execute that play, and they got caught in time count on that one.
Well, everybody marvels at Danny McManus's ability to release the football on time, and there's an indication we've had the stopwatch on these two.
You know, that's the thing that a lot of defensive linemen and linebackers are saying. The reason that they only have 7 quarterback sacks on Danny Mack is the fact that he has that 2.2-second release time.
1st and 10, Barker in trouble. Now gets it away, Burse. He'll cut it back. The big train down to the 14, dropped the ball. Joe Hagan and the Cats have their second fumble recovery, and the Argos are irate. They think that Burse lost the ball on contact with the ground, and now we're going to have a conference. We'll sort it out when we come back. Third turnover of the first half for the Argos. This one debated, but the referees rule it was a fumble. Let's have another look.
Well, again, we talked about this is something that's very important. Jay Barker scrambling, gets it across, avoids the pressure. Big Tony Battleship Burse gets the football. Now, as he's going back into the pile right now, he gets hit. Now, as he's going down, you can see the ball is being ripped out of his hands by Mike Campbell. That's what he's arguing about. He's saying the ball, that he had control of the football when he hit the ground, but Mike Campbell, before the knees hit, was already tearing that football out of him.
You're saying good call. And Hamilton takes over. The most promising drive, the only drive for the Argos so far, is snuffed by another turnover. And McManus hooks up with Corey Grant up at the 40-yard line. His first completion into the wind, or with the wind at his back.
Well, let's take a look at that turnover once again. As you can see, the ball is coming, and you can see right there before he's going down, the ball is being pulled out by Mike Campbell. What Tony Burse is arguing, though, is saying that by the time my knees were on the turf, I still had possession of the football. That's one of those calls that the referee has to live with it, good or bad.
McManus 6 for 10 after that 19-yard completion to Grant. Now for Emerson, incomplete. Donald Smith, the veteran in coverage.
You know, Chris, and I got to wonder if there's something maybe wrong with Volundis Bryce. They moved him to corner. Or is there something wrong with Adrian Smith? Because they're staying with this lineup. They're staying with Adrian Smith playing the safety position. Now that means a lot of times you're not one-on-one. You're basically coming over, you're helping. You see him come across the middle again, reacting to the football where it's being thrown, almost coming out with an interception. But Volundis Bryce is getting the majority of the corner one-on-one coverage work.
Or is it something designed to fool McManus, who looked for Morreale? Danny McManus took a hit there as he delivered the ball, incomplete.
The only thing that would confuse a quarterback, and a lot of times defensive linemen and defensive linebackers used to do that, what they used to do, Chris, is they'd come up and change personnel so that if you were clued in on a certain number, if you knew that 23, in this case, Volundis Bryce was safety, and you didn't see 23, you'd think, oh, the safety's gone. But now, in effect, Adrian Smith, number 12, is a safety.
That last play, it looked like Adrian Smith was there to pick up Archie Emerson, man for man.
And again, that might be another scheme, Chris. They might say, because they know they just got burned by Archie Emerson, they might say, you know what, Adrian, wherever Archie Emerson goes, you go. You be his best friend this football game.
Problem was he let him get a little too far away for the Hamilton touchdown. Third down, Cats in punt formation. 9:45 remaining, first half. Nice job by Clemens to field that on the hop. And pinball with a return to the 35-yard line. And Paul Massotti, we've mentioned, could be playing in his final playoff year, considering retirement. His first catch ever was in Hamilton, and this is his first touchdown ever, and it also came against the Tiger Cats.
Well, we've seen him do that many times over his 12-year career, and you know that he'd love no better way to end his career by winning the Grey Cup, but also having a great game today in his hometown of Hamilton.
His grandmother, Louise Mazzotti, is at the game. She's also cheering on another grandson in this game, Mike Morreale. Ryan Terry trying to pick his way over the 35 up to the 39, and Terry has 4. Ryan Terry, the man who has replaced Pinball Clements at the running back spot this year.
Well, you're going to see they're probably going to throw Pinball in there a little bit. He still carries the football on occasion. Last week he carried it once for 17 yards. He has the ability still to find the opening, but he's more of a receiver right now. You still got to use him.
Now Clements in for Potasic at slot back. 2nd and 6 Argo. They go to Terry, right side, And he won't get there. Terry stopped at around the 43, a couple of yards shy of the Argo first down.
Well, they go back to running the football again, trying to control the line of scrimmage, trying to get the ball out of their end. I'm a little surprised, Chris, with the success they had last series, utilizing Jay Barker, getting him outside, stretching the defense on bootlegs, and then maybe you can use the shovel pass or throw the football downfield. I think you still got to utilize all your receivers. Get Mookie involved. Get Mazzotti, Kerwin. Throw the football. You got pinball out there. Don't stay with one dimension of your football game.
Now Hamilton goes with 3 returners back, and a bad punt off the side of Prefontaine's foot. No yards penalty as Grant is swarmed back at the 43, just 21 yards on that punt by the leading punter in the CFL. So Danny McManus goes back to work on offense, trying to build on a 1-touchdown lead in the Eastern Semi. Back in Hamilton, Chris Cuthbert, Chris Walby, Scott Russell, and the CFL on CBC crew. It's a touchdown lead for Hamilton. Toronto Argonauts have been outplayed so far. Maybe thankful it's only a 1-touchdown game. They've turned the ball over 3 times in the first half. There's Alundis Price. He's played safety all season long, and he's playing the wide field corner so far in this first half.
We're definitely going to see what their scheme or the defensive scheme is about that, and I believe it has something to do with Archie Amerson.
Ronald Williams again carrying the ball on first down, gets it to midfield. This time he's got 3 on the first down carry. An interesting stat, Chris, about the Hamilton offense. You think about McManus, you think about passing. When they rush for 100 yards or more, they're 9-1. When they pass for 300 yards or more, they're only 5-4. So Ronald Williams is a very important part of this offense.
Well, I tell you, this time of year, you got to have it. I'm a firm believer that I don't care if it's training camp, you got to establish your running game just to keep the defense honest and keep them guessing. If you're playing one-dimensional, you're in for a long year.
2nd and 7. McManus wide side, and it's been picked off. Antonius Bonner stepped in front of Darren Flutie, and the Argos have their 2nd turnover of the game.
Well, that's a long throw. I'll tell you what, Danny Mack is going way across field on this ball. The ball hangs up. Antonius Bonner does a nice job of seeing the football coming, breaking on the football, and coming up with an interception. I mean, he's looking off. He's going to look him off, and he's going to go back, but he comes back to the inside. It's a long throw. It hangs up there. Now the receiver's got to come back to the football. This is Flutie. He expects to have the football, but you got to give Antonius Bonner credit for that one. He wanted it more, and he came back 2 more steps and took it away from Darren Flutie.
3 interceptions during the year for Bonner, and he gives the Argos offense the football at the 48. Tony Burse straight up the middle, and productive first down yardage for Burse up close to midfield.
Biggest thing, as you said, Chris, the first quarter totally dominated by Hamilton. Second quarter, Jay Barker on offense started to do some things. They had a controversial fumble by Tony Burse. They're getting breaks now. What's happening now? The flow of the game is changing. Hamilton has now turned the ball over. Toronto, only being down 7, has got to feel good about where they sit right now.
2nd and 5, less than 6.5 minutes to go, first half. Short drop, Barker the out, and it sails past Ryan Terry, incomplete.
Barker's pass is incomplete.
So far today, and I know we're talking about a heavy wind, but what I haven't seen yet is the stretching of the defense vertically, the deep throw, keeping them honest. You always got to throw the ball deep just to let those cornerbacks know you can do it. If you don't, everybody cheats. Everybody sits a little shorter. The halfbacks crowd the middle. As a result, they're not worried about anybody coming deep on them. They can cheat and play the run more effectively.
You know all about playing in the wind in Winnipeg. I mean, are we making too much of the breeze?
No, the wind is an incredible factor, and you can't talk about it enough. We've seen it already affect the punting game a couple times. Prefontaine, the league premier punter, is having trouble with adjusting with the football. We'll see when we come back.
Fielded by Anderson.
31-yard punt by Prefontaine, and cause for concern for the Argos. That's the long snapper, J.P. Darch, down and getting attention. He went out of a game a couple of weeks ago in Winnipeg
is just going to come into screen number 39, gets kind of caught by his old man Capers and rolls down. It's more of a shin injury. A couple weeks ago, he got a little bit of a concussion, so they were more concerned about his head, but on that replay, you can see for sure that he just got tripped over one of his players, Byron Capers, and kind of caught. It's like a shin split. Like, I'm sure we've all done it where we banged our leg into a table or something. It's not life-threatening or anything, but it can be very, very painful.
Jonathan Heimbach starts to warm up. He's out of USC, just brought in for the purpose of backing up Darch, because the Argos got caught without a long snapper. Remember, Chad Folks, Scott Russell talked to him earlier in the day. He's out. Darch, the other long snapper. The Argos were caught without anybody who could get the ball to Prefontaine. They had to end up getting rid of the football on third down via field goal.
And, you know, they brought in Heimbach. He hasn't played football for a while. He was a late cut of the Kansas City Chiefs in the NFL this year. He's been sitting at home and waiting for a call, hopefully to go back to the NFL. But this guy wants to play football, and I think he's going to love the game up here.
So we'll see Heimbach pressed into duty.
Right now, get a 28-point winter checkup, oil, lube, and filter, tire rotation, and a bonus emergency road kit. All for just $29.95. Only at Canadian Tire.
Well, Darch clearly in discomfort. He came up with a fumble recovery earlier in this game. And he's not putting any weight on the right leg.
And what looked like a simple injury does not look so simple anymore.
Hamilton starts from their own 25, 5:55 left first half. The hitch to Corey Grant, sidestepped one man, and Grant up the sidelines. Top rookie in the East, Corey Grant. What a season he had, 875 yards receiving. That's 8th best in the CFL.
He's quickly becoming another favorite receiver of Danny McManus, as he really feels confident. He's felt that he's really developed as a receiver on the wide side. And what he really likes about his fact is what he does after he catches the ball. Almost a little bit of a clone of Daryl Mitchell of the Argonauts, is the fact that he gets his hands on it, he's got excellent speed, and he's turning out to really explode when he catches that football.
2nd and a yard for Ronald Williams. Plucked up at the line of scrimmage, but I think Williams got to the first down stick.
Well, I think, Chris, it's really important for Hamilton to try and get some consistency on offense. They started off really strong, and they've kind of been sputtering. Danny Mac has been off on his throws. He just got picked off. We know through the history of Danny Mac that doesn't really bother him a lot. He'll come back and throw the very next play, as we saw on the previous play to Corey Grant. But they need to get some momentum built again. They need to take that ball back and march it down the field and get some points.
I think it's fair to say this is the type of game most people anticipated. And the longer we go, the more the Hamilton Ticats may be concerned.
Well, definitely. That's exactly what Coach Barker of the Toronto Argonauts, the head coach of the Argonauts, said. He said, if we can stay in long with these guys and be close, we've got a great chance to win it.
First down, Hamilton. Their own 35, 6 receivers out. And underneath, Averson. And he's blasted by the middle linebacker out of North Bay, Michael O'Shea.
Well, Toronto's doing a lot of different things on defense right now. That play they had Fred Perry, the defensive end, who normally rushes the passer, drop out into a linebacker position, take away the short, shallow pass, forcing Danny Mac to just throw the ball over the middle of Arch Amerson. And as you said, Mr. Everything for the Toronto defense, Michael O'Shea comes over and blasts him.
5 for Amerson, 2nd and 5. McManus nearly picked off again. He was looking for Corey Grant, and Donald Smith got his hands on the football. Scott?
Well, worst possible news for J.P. Darch. They have a suspected fractured lower right leg, and J.P. Darch is on the bench right there. He's out the rest of the game. They have to get him x-rayed. So 39 for the Argonauts, gone today.
So we will see Heimbach in long snap situations, and an insurance policy that the Argos brought in will have to be put into use.
Well, just another case again, Chris, of, you know, a foot getting caught in the turf as he goes over and he went over his own player, Capers, and the foot not releasing and something given. In this case, it was a shin. And boy, we can only hope the best things for J.P. Darch.
Great kick by Osbaldiston. Clemens sidestepped one, but not going anywhere with Eric Lapointe hanging on. 45-yard punt, and Pinball lost 3 on the return.
Well, it's been a game characterized by turnovers so far today. Archie Amerson misplaying that punt. Jay Barker's going to throw a little pass. He fumbles the ball. Tony Burse, questionable fumble right here, comes to play. A lot of turnovers here in this game, and anytime you have a game that may be controlled by turnovers, it's a team that last turns it over that may very well walk away the victor.
At the Argo 23, first down Toronto. 5 receivers out. Barker as an open man, and it's Andre Kerwin stepping out near the first down stick at the Cat bench, and they're going to mark him a yard short. But Barker's starting to develop some confidence in the passing game.
Well, a nice job of the offensive line as well, giving him the time to throw that football. It just takes a short roll to the right, sets up behind the right side behind Mudge and Morgan, and delivers a nice ball to Kerwin.
Strangely enough, both offenses seem to have moved the ball more effectively against the wind. Does that surprise you?
It really does, but you'd think because they're going against the wind that the defenses could cheat up, figuring they're not going to get bit deep. In effect, they're playing softer, and on that case there, you saw Steinhauer playing soft on Kerwin, and Barker delivering a nice ball to him.
Delay on the field, I'm not sure what the officials are waiting for. It may be so they can get J.P. Darch taken to the dressing room. And that indeed is the reason for the delay prior to 2nd and 1. J.P. Darch, winner of the CIAU Russ Jackson Award, combination of football, scholastics, and community service award. And an important special teams guy.
Well, yeah, and he's also a second-year medical student that chose to be a physician. But he traded that right now. He can't believe his bad luck right now. And I can identify with that feeling of driving off the cart.
Barker on 2nd and 1, plunging forward behind Chris Gioscus and Dave Mudge. And Tepper's a little short down there as they unpile. And Calvin Tiggle in the middle of it.
Well, Tiggle and Hendrickson talking to me before the game, very excited to be playing us. He was with Winnipeg earlier in the season. They didn't make the playoffs. He's in an opportunity to play in a playoff game, and he's fired up. He's still John over there. He's saying, bring it on, I'm looking for you.
It's funny the way things change. Calvin Tiggle, one of the softest spoken guys off the field, just like Dave Hack. Get a little different when they hit the gridiron.
Coming up on the Canadian Airlines halftime show from Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton, Charlie Taff has it nice. He's in Beaconsfield, Quebec, lying in wait for the winner of this game. We'll talk to Charlie in the halftime show. There's also a Western preview, Edmonton and Calgary coming up, and the guys will have their analysis. And here are the guys.
Thanks, Scott. The Argos with a first down at their own 34, and the handoff. Ryan Terry breaks through, and Terry into the secondary has a first down at the 45-yard line. 11 yards. That's the best run for the Argos on the day.
And a nice job. They haven't done this since Pinball was actually in the backfield as a counter. They're just going to pull 69. Dave Mutchlick gets around there. Nice job of getting on the blocker, Lamar Madrid. And Ryan Terry does the rest of reading the blocking, as you say, getting up there for a nice first down run.
Safety Rob Hitchcock brought him down. Back to Terry again. Follows the blocking for 5 more.
The same play. They're just going to pull the backside guard. Now it's pivotal that the front side, in this case, Hendrickson and Jude St. John, get their hat on somebody right now, create the opening, allow the backside guard to come. Now they get their guy. 69 is going to pull around. Tony Burst with a good block at the point of attack. You can see 69, a good running back. Just follow the big man. Follow the big man. He does it and gets good first yardage production.
2:20 left, first half, 2nd and 5. Little shovel toss, and Tony Burst is into Hamilton territory at the 48. Tiggle brought him down.
I hate to say I told you so, but I say one of the things that happens if your quarterback rolls out, your defensive end in this case, Tim Terry's got to be honest. He's got to stay with them. As a result, you create a gap. Shovel pass is a great way to take advantage of that. They do it perfectly that time by giving the football, and he pulls it up for another first down.
Injured Argo on the play. Big guy out of Whitby, rookie Dave Mudge has taken a knee.
Well, you knew it was going to be a battle in there. We talked earlier about the fact that there is no love lost between these two guys. They see each other. They may be able to be sociable off the field, but when they're on the field right now, it's total hatred.
Steve Salter checks in, 3-year man out of the University of Ottawa. It's interesting, Chris. Remember how tough it was for the Argos to get their initial first down. They have 6 in the second quarter. Hamilton with only 2. So the teams have moved more efficiently against the wind so far this afternoon.
What was the big key they all talked about? They said, we know, Toronto said, we've got a great defense. We know we've got a great punter, good special teams. If we can get something out of our offense today, we've got a legitimate chance to win. While they're getting something out of their offense in the second quarter.
Daryl Mitchell and Pinball Clements to the right side with Masati. 1st and 10, under 2 minutes left. And here's Parker releasing the burst. Nice move past Tiggle, but Calvin stayed with it and brought him down at the 40.
But the bootleg action, or the stretching, the rolling out action of Barker is creating openings. It's opening up the side of field that he rolls through, creating opportunities for this offense to exploit certain situations. This time, Higgins has to take the quarterback. As a result of the linebacker coming in, you force Tiggle to come all the way over from the middle linebacker position to make the tackle on Tony Burst. It's a great job of execution by the Toronto offense.
2nd and a pair. Tony Burst. He's got it. And lunging to the 35 to keep this Argo drive going.
And remember, one of the big factors that happens today is with this realigned offensive line, Chris Joskins at center in place of Chad Folk, the more success you get, the more confidence you get as a group. If this group starts to get confidence, it could cause some trouble for the Hamilton defense.
And now Salter's in there. 1st and 10 Argonauts. Kerwin, the hitch screen. Brought down at the 28, gets 7 more. Well, coming up on the Canadian Airlines halftime report, we'll check in with Charlie Tapp, whose team won 3 of 4 against Hamilton and 2 of 3 against the Argos. Find out his thoughts on this first half as he gets set for the Eastern Final at Molson Stadium next week.
You know, it looked like he's relaxing and watching the game, but you can guarantee he's got a VCR somewhere and he's already checking out both these teams.
2nd and 3, another big play in the final minute of the first half. Terry, left side, first down, and the Argos are getting it done on the ground against this Hamilton defense.
Well, they tried to run the ball early in the first quarter and was stuffed. Now they're throwing the football a little bit. The linebacking crew of the Hamilton Tire Cats has got a little bit more depth right now. As a result, the running backs are finding a little bit more success of getting through the offensive line's initial blocks and picking up some good yardage and keeping these drives alive.
Joe Munford and the Hamilton D trying to dig in. Barker drops the ball and gets on it back at the 29. Tim Terry was there.
A real nice job by the rookie Tim Terry, staying with where he's supposed to rush the passer. Don't get fooled. Don't follow inside right now. He fakes a play action, Tony Burst. 92. He's hoping 92 will go inside. He doesn't. He stays right on the stick, and he's very fortunate that he's able to come up and retain possession of that football.
They've already fumbled the ball away twice in this first half. So they lose 7. 2nd and 17. Tony Burse cuts back and ran right into McGriggs and Tiggle at the 27. So you've got a 34-yard field goal attempt for Dan Giancola if Jim Barker is going to try it. It was out of Oz range, and they may just try and, no, Giancola's there.
And you just heard the special teams coach yelling cover because of the fact that this wind will push that football down. You got it. Remember, you got big men out here. These aren't your swiftest athletes that are blocking for the field goal attempt. So it's really important that they stay in their lanes. Don't try to do much. Don't all fall to one side of the field. Stay in your lanes. Force the returner, if he's going to return the ball, back out.
Paulus Baldiston's also in the end zone. So he'll kick it out if they miss, because there won't be any time left on the clock. Dan Giancola missing left side, and Darren Flutie will punt it out with no time left. Every point so valuable on a day like today, and the Ticats weren't even willing to squander one.
I gotta tell you, Chris, I gotta tell you, nice job of Darren Flutie. Everybody anticipated him to throw that ball back to Ozzie to kick it out. He does a nice job of heads up. He could have probably ran it out, but punts it out, and in effect kills the half. Let's go down to Scott Russell.
Here's Jim Barker, the Argonauts, both sides of the football. First of all, you're sputtering offensively, but do you see some daylight there?
Oh, absolutely. Second quarter, I thought we did a great job. Into the wind, we moved the ball down the field twice. We fumbled, and we missed a field goal. Can't do that. You know, we get first down, we can't lose 6 yards. I mean, those kind of things, we're not going to have to do that. So our defense is doing a great job. The wind is a huge factor, and we just got to keep plugging away.
Thanks very much, Jim. Good luck. There's Jim Barker of the Toronto Argonauts. The Hamilton Tiger Cats lead 7-0 over the Argos after the first half of play. Archie Averson has the only touchdown for the Tiger Cats as the CFL East Semi continues on CBC. Cats of all kinds here in Hamilton, Ontario. The Tiger Cats lead 7-0 over the Toronto Argonauts on a touchdown by Archie Averson. Well, the Montreal Alouettes were the top team in the East in the regular season, and they're lying in wait for the winner of this game between the Argonauts and the Tiger Cats. And in Beaconsfield, Quebec, is the head coach of the Montreal Alouettes, Charlie Taff, along with his son Brian. We say hi to Brian there, but we really want to talk to Charlie about what he sees in this football game between the Cats and the Argos. Charlie?
Well, it's a great football game, and of course Toronto's right in there despite the turnovers. I thought, you know, when they recovered that fumble, that was big for them, particularly with some of the problems they've had offensively. They got the ball in the short field there and then turned it over, and then of course Bursa's fumble and the missed field goal. In spite of those errors, they're right in the game. And of course Hamilton is tough, and it's really a defensive battle. But Toronto's playing well. It looked like Hamilton had the momentum right there at the beginning, and then the second quarter Toronto settled down, made a couple of plays, and seemed to get some confidence.
Amerson has the touchdown for the Tiger Cats. As you know, they're a strong offensive team. Do you match up better against either the Argos or the Tiger Cats, or do you care?
I don't really care at this point. I just hope we match up well next Sunday, because really that's the key. It's a one-game opportunity, and you don't have next week, so we got to be on top of our game no matter who we play. Obviously, it's very apparent that either team playing today is capable of winning, so it's going to be a great game here next week in Montreal.
Quarterback Anthony Calvillo, the CFL Player of the Week last week, but he even thinks it'll be Tracy Ham. I just want to get that straight. Will it be Tracy Ham for the Alouettes in the final?
Well, it'll be either AC or Tracy. Now, you know, Tracy's practiced. We practiced 2 days this past week, and they're off for the weekend, and we'll see, you know, when we start back practice tomorrow. But if Tracy's healthy, he'll start the football game. He's played in a lot of big games in the past, and if you remember the game last year in Hamilton, he did a great job in the second half of getting us to what appeared to be a victory for us in those last 24 seconds.
Charlie, the past 3 East Finals, the Montreal Alouettes have lost, but you were away from Molson Stadium. Now you're home with those screaming fans right on top of the other football team. Could home turf be a factor for your club?
Well, I don't think there's any doubt about that. The fact that we're 8-1 at home this year, our fans, the atmosphere in Molson Stadium is just fantastic. Our players play well at home. I think they feed off the energy and the enthusiasm created by our fans, and there's no question it's always an advantage to play at home.
Charlie, thanks very much for taking the time to do this. Good luck to the Owls, and enjoy the rest of the football game.
Okay, thank you. I choked on one of my potato chips there.
Get some dip there, Charlie. There's
right,
Charlie Taft, the head coach of
Bye.
the Montreal Alouettes, who lie in wait for the winner of the Argos and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The Cats lead by 7 as we continue this. Wins Stadium in Hamilton. Their Cats lead the Toronto Argonauts 7-0 at halftime. Oski wee wee. Great football game here. There's a great one coming up, the Western semifinal. It's the Calgary Stampeders hosting the Edmonton Eskimos. Here's Steve Armitage with a preview.
As far as the Eskimos are concerned, this goal line of McMahon Stadium represents hallowed ground. This is where they came up with a great goal line stand on Labor Day to win the Classic. The Eskimos hoping they can repeat that. The Stampeders hoping it doesn't go that far. And in order to prevent the Eskimos from winning, they have to contain the complete package that is Neon Green.
You know, when Neon's in the game, I think they're not going to take the passing game away from them. So we're not going to be so focused on the run that you know, we're going to look foolish taking the pass away. The way we played all year, the front 7 takes care of the run, the secondary takes care of the pass, and you know, when we go into the game, Neons can hurt you just as much throwing as he can running.
We expect the best from our opponents, and what we try to do is worry about the things that we can control, and that's the play of our players. We're getting some injured players back, Troy Mills and Doug Peterson. We're going to get 2 games in a row out of Neon Green. So we've been able to advance our football team because of those things.
For the 8th time in CFL history, it's the Eskimos and Stampeders in the semifinal, and you'll see it as part of our CFL doubleheader later today.
Nice clear day out there in Calgary as the Eskimos and Calgary Stampeders prepare. Here it's the Argonauts and Tiger Cats, and Chris, the Argonauts are starting to move the football.
Got to be honest, Scott, it was 7-0 Hamilton, and they were getting the win, and I thought maybe they were going to pull away and leave the Argos behind in this game, but as Charlie Taft told Scott, you can see the momentum changing a bit. What was your take on the first half?
Well, I thought the first half was controlled. The first quarter especially was controlled by Hamilton, all facets of the game. Second quarter, as you said, it looked like Jay Barker started to come alive. But let's take a look what happened here. I mean, obviously a blocked punt by Gerald Vaughn led to this touchdown throw by Art Chambers, who found some broken coverage. Darryl Mitchell, we talked about the fact that here's the guy they got to go to. They went to him twice in the first half, 1 for 36 yards. They got to start using this guy.
Yeah, they said they'd get him the ball 8 or 10 times. Turnovers took points off the board for Toronto.
Well, I mean, Tony Burse, they has a fumble right there. Jay Barker had a fumble before. And then, of course, they're in the scoring zone. They start moving the ball, and the ball just falls out of his hands right now. So we're getting a lot of ill-opportune things happening to this Toronto offense, but on a lighter note, they are moving the football now.
Yeah, you know, Jay Barker talked about being pulled the last time these 2 teams played. Here he started with 5 2-and-outs and a fumble, and yet they're going to stick with him today, and he says he gets better as the game wears on because he starts to recognize things better.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's just look at this stat. No first downs the first quarter. 8 first downs the second quarter. That tells you right there that they're moving the ball right now. They're finding some success against the Hamilton defense. Now we talk about this. It's a game of adjustments. Halftime, this is where the coaches earn their money. Let's just see where they come out, what they make changes to, and who wins the battle in the next 30 minutes to win this football game.
Argos should have the win in the 4th quarter, but the best offense has been against the wind so far at Ivor Wynne today. 7-0 as we get set for the second half in Tigertown. Tiger Cats with a touchdown lead as we get set to start the second half at Ivor Wynne, but first down to the Hamilton bench and Scott Russell.
Ron Lancaster of the Tiger Cats, you have the lead, but they're starting to move the football. What's your take on it?
Well, we just got to do a little bit of a better job. They've hurt us. The only way they've hurt us is run the ball. We had a blown coverage once, but we just got to play solid football. It's a defensive battle. That's what everybody figured was going to be going in.
Good luck, Ron.
Okay.
Jim Barker in his first playoff game. It was not the start he envisioned, but I think this is the type of game he anticipated.
Well, I think that one of the interesting things when we look at the first half stats, yard rushing for the Argos 60, but this is a big thing. They had no first downs first quarter. They got 8 second, and look at the time of possession. It was almost 2-1 after the first quarter for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That second quarter was a total reversal for the Toronto Argonauts, and I think that's why Coach Barker of the Argonauts is excited right now, because of the fact he sees things changing, the momentum swinging. And we talked to him yesterday. What did he say about this young Jay Barker? He said, the last time he played here, he pulled Jay Barker and put Jimmy Kemp in. He said, looking back on that decision, I should have left him in because he's a quarterback that as the game gets on, he gets stronger.
Well, we talked about mistakes being crucial today. McManus capitalized on an Argo mistake, the block punt for the lone touchdown of this first half. We're going to join Scott Russell.
Tell you what, we've got everything in this football game. We've got injuries, we've got fumbles, we've also got weather that's unreal. We've had a little bit of rain, blustery winds, and now hailstones all over the field. So the players are going to have to contend with that, as well as everything else, including the bitter rivalry here in the East Semi, guys.
So smash mouth football in more ways than one if those hailstones get any bigger. We've had a few little squalls blow through already today. And the wind continues to whip the flags here in Hamilton.
Well, the wind is really playing havoc, and we can see that Toronto, who won the toss, will have the win in the fourth quarter, and we'll see if that is of any benefit to them the last 15 minutes of this football game.
Prefontaine will get set to kick it off. And again, the ball off the tee as Tony Akins takes his spot. Back to receive along with Amerson. Wiltshire will hold for Prefontaine. And here we go, trying to decide an opponent for Montreal in the Eastern Final. Tony Akins picks his way through and caught from behind. But there is a flag back at the 40-yard line. That's a 40-yard return for Tony Akins. Derek Crete may have saved a touchdown, but let's check out the flag. It would have been coming back anyway.
Well, Chris, the penalty's a big factor, but also Tony Burse is shaking up on the field right now.
Holding Hamilton on the run back. First down.
And that's even more crucial to this Argonaut team right now. He went down in a pileup on the blocking team. And as a result, they can ill afford to lose Tony Burse.
One of the reasons the Argos feel they were so disappointing the last visit here in mid-October, Jim Barker had Tony Burse in practice sessions throughout the entire week, but he had a viral infection, couldn't play, and the whole game plan went out the window with Tony Burse not in the lineup.
Well, he is such a leader on this football team. He's a presence in the locker room, off the locker room, and you know he's very vocal. And you cannot afford, you know, his value as a blocking back, not only as a running back, is something that you just can't replace.
He brings an attitude to the Argos. And as he hobbles off, Hamilton gets set to go on offense to start this second half. Darren Flutie, one of 4 receivers right side, and the pitch, Ron Williams going to the right. Up to the 33-yard line, gets 4 on the first offensive play of the second half.
Well, you just sat at halftime. Come on out, get your offensive lineman right back in the game right now. Run the ball, get Ronald Williams' hands on the rock. Just a little play off, right tackle. Right behind the big guys, Chris Burns, Dave Hack, Carl Coulter. Picks up 4 yards, makes it 2nd and 6.
Williams averaged 5 yards a carry this year against the Argos, 4 yards a carry. Tougher sledding against the #1 defense in the CFL. 2nd and 6. Everybody out. The pass for Amerson high and incomplete. 2 and out to start the second half.
2 and out, and you know what? Toronto's defense is doing something they're not normally known for. They usually bring everything in the kitchen sink in second. This time they rush 3. They drop the rush end. Fred Perry again into coverage. They get everybody back. You got 3 guys rushing. Everybody else is in pass coverage right now. Take away all the open areas for Danny Mack. Make him force a throw. He throws it high to Arch Amerson. They can't complete it. As a result, they got to punt the ball, and Toronto's going to get the football back.
Adrian Smith, Michael Clemens awaiting the punt. Now Paul Osbaldiston. Pinball driven back to the 22. That could be a return. Michael Clemens tripped up at the 39-yard line. A 55-yard punt, 16 on the run back. Kyle Walters made the tackle, and Tony Burse isn't going to miss a down.
Well, you got to shoot him to keep him out of the lineup right now. He wants to play this game so bad against these Hamilton Tiger Cats, and more importantly, he wants to win this football game. We'll see how it turns out, but let's go down to Scott.
Here's the word on Tony Burse on that last series of downs. He had a toe on his left foot roll up on him, and that's why he was hobbling out the field. Yearn to go now, though, Battleship Tony Burse.
First down, Argos at their own 39. Ryan Terry, right side, and he runs into Calvin Tiggle. Ron Lancaster said yesterday, if the front four is doing its job, you'll see 73 make a lot of tackles.
Well, they're doing their job because 73 is flowing down the line, and he does make head contact. We can hear that hit all the way up here in the booth. He's just going to flow down there, read his line. He's wide there. He's trying to bring somebody across. He just beats the blocker of Craig Hendrickson and meets Ryan Terry in the hole.
3 for 33, 2nd and 7. Terry will try the other side, and Joe Montford leads a swarming pack of Tiger Cats. Tiggle there, Higgins, and 2 and out for the Argos.
Third down.
Well, nice job of Hamilton's defense coming up and meeting the challenge right here. Joe Montford, we haven't really mentioned his name much today, but he has a presence every time he's on the field. He's in the bottom of your screen. He's just going to take the block on. He just gets rid, just shucks. Tony Burse comes in and makes a play. That's a real nice job of number 53 of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Joe Montford.
Now Prefontaine, who averaged just 26 yards in the first half into the wind. Amerson back. 3 back awaiting the punt. Little bounce on the ground to Archie. Nice sidestep, and Amerson across midfield and underneath the right hook from Antonius Bonner at the end of the play. Low bridge, but 21 yards on the return for Amerson, who has the only major score on the afternoon. Both teams 2 and out to start the second half. The first half began with 7 consecutive punts, so it's been quiet for Daryl Mitchell and Darren Flutie so far this afternoon.
Well, you can say these are the two go-to guys on each team. 2 catches for Mookie Man Mitchell and Darren Flutie, 2 catches for 23 yards. Both haven't scored a touchdown, but, you know, those 2 guys get it done in a flash, so those stats may change rather quickly.
Hamilton already in Osbaldiston field goal range on a day like today. Ronald Williams drops the ball. Argos say they've got it. Martavius Houston, the rookie, comes up with the ball. And Hamilton allowing Toronto to stay in this game.
That's exactly it, Chris. You couldn't put any clearer. Every time that Hamilton seems to take the momentum back in their park and start marching the football, they throw, or they cause a turnover right now. And this is another one. First was the interception. Now the fumble right there. He just drops the football. The ball is out there. As you say, Martavius Houston comes up with the fumble.
I think Roger Dunbrack stripped that ball loose.
You're correct. 73 Roger Dunbrack tearing it out of his arms.
First down at the Argo 50. Play action, look out. Terry can't bring him down. Pinball open. Michael Clemens, he lost the ball, and Hamilton gets it back. Orlando Steinauer has his second fumble recovery, and Michael Clemens lamenting a key mistake.
Ronald fumble with the recovery.
Well, this is just a game of who's going to make the last mistake right now. We see Jay Barker does a great job again of avoiding pressure of Tim Terry, spinning away from Tim Terry, turning around and getting off the football, throwing it to a wide open Pinball Clemens, who snuck down the sidelines. He in turn starts to run away with the football, gets tackled. You can see Rob Hitchcock gets his hand on the football. The ball comes loose, and that's right, folks, we're going the other way this time.
It was a 19-yard pickup, and then the strip by Hitchcock.
I mean, that is just a real lucky touch. Sometimes you got to be good to be lucky or lucky to be good, but Hitchcock just had his hand in the right place that time, caught the football.
Get better, Sue.
Ball came loose, and whoa, that's a big break for the Hamilton Tiger guys.
We're coming, baby, we're coming.
Well, this guy doesn't have to ponder many mistakes in a distinguished 12-year career, but it's ferocious out there right now, and the defenses are dominating. Hamilton back to work. McManus with time, looking deep, looking for Williams, and it's knocked down. Martavius Houston, the speedy outside linebacker, was in coverage against Williams.
Well, they looked for a one-on-one matchup. They got it. Ronald Williams gets one-on-one coverage down the field. Martavius Houston, who is no speed slouch by any means, but he does have a step on him. Danny Mack sees it. He throws it up there. The ball gets kind of hung up. Remember I told you before, the wind, even though you're throwing with the wind is funny in Ivor when it'll force the football down, in effect shortening the route, and as a result, it allows Martavius Houston to come over and knock that ball away.
Houston beaten out for rookie honors in the East by Corey Grant of Hamilton. You had one guy with great offensive numbers, Houston with outstanding defensive numbers. 2nd and 10. Here comes the blitz over the middle. Adrian Smith knocked it down. Man for man against Archie Amerson, and now Smith may have rolled over on the ankle.
But you're right. You know, one of the nice things you see, they're bringing everybody up here. Look at all the guys on the line of scrimmage. Here they come. They're going to rush the passer. Kelly Wiltshire is off the bottom of your corner. But Adrian Smith is going to take Arch Amerson. We wondered why he was put in the middle. That's the reason. He takes Arch Amerson, nullifies one of Danny McManus's favorite receivers. Archie Amerson always has big games, always finds a way to get open in big games. And right now they're doing a good job of closing the door on him. After they allowed him that one early touchdown, he's virtually been non-existent.
Pinball back, hoping to get his hands on the ball. I wonder if he'll get a chance offensively to atone for the fumble. He told us in the pregame show he's not a big part of this offense anymore. He is on special teams. Flag down. Clemens up near the 40-yard line. And we'll sort out the flag. A 42-yard punt, 17 on the return by the Pinball. Still 7-0 Tiger Cats. Paul Osbaldiston agitated at the Hamilton bench. He thought he was bumped and a flag should have been thrown. Daryl Mitchell came close to a block.
Well, you know, Daryl hasn't got his hands on the ball very often this afternoon. If he can't do it on offense, he's going to try it on special teams, and he comes so close to almost blocking that Aussie punt.
There was a penalty marker on the field, but the officials say no infraction. Toronto has the ball at their 40. Ryan Terry hauled down by Joe Montfort. Top defensive player last year, and no slouch this season with 26 sacks, 5 fumble recoveries, 5 forced fumbles, and 3 touchdowns.
And talking to him, he says, I love to play against this offensive line. He respects Dwayne Morgan on the other tackle, Craig Henderson at this time, but he's had 5 sacks in 3 games against this offensive line.
Just a yard for Terry, 2nd and 9. Hitch Mitchell. Across the 45, but short of the first down. Barker 6 straight completions now, but this one not enough to produce a first down.
Not enough to produce a first down, but I like the fact that they're trying to get the ball in Mookie Mitchell's hands right now. This is a guy you can just watch when he catches a football and takes off, but he's just got that acceleration. with speed. I mean, you can just see people. You either got to swarm him, because if he finds a crease, he's going a long way.
Gerald Vaughn made sure there was no crease. Another punting situation for Prefontaine. 9:20 remaining in this third quarter. And you know, the Argos, I think, would take 7-0 down heading to the fourth quarter.
Well, we talked about the importance of the wind. You can see kicking in it. He's only a 27-yard average, though, but he unloads one here.
Better punt. Aikens from his 24 and swarmed as he got to the 30, and Tony Burse was one of the first men downfield again. 38-yard punt into the wind. 5-yard return on a day marked by turnovers. Amerson botching a punt return, but then Barker giving it back. Tony Burse deep in Hamilton territory. Great pick by Antonius Bonner. Ronald Williams stripped of the ball. And then Pinball Clements when it looked like the Argos had something going. First down, McManus on a roll, flag down, complete. Andrew Grigg with his first catch, but it's coming back. A holding call against the Tiger Cats wipes out a 22-yard gain.
Well, that's the biggest gain the second half.
Hamilton 68, first down repeated.
Big Dave Hack with the claw. Roger Dunbrack felt he was being held on the play, and of course the line judge is right there, throws the flag, and they can't do this. Penalties will hurt this team. They have a tendency to take them at inopportune times, and I know they have a 7-0 lead, but they really need to build some momentum and start moving this football down onto the other side, into Toronto's side of the football field.
Hack, the top offensive lineman for the Tiger Cats in 99. First and 20 at the Hamilton 20. McManus with all kinds of time. O'Shea, and it's picked off. Fred Perry's got the ball. Oh, Michael O'Shea unloaded. Speaking of turnovers, another enormous one.
Well, you know what? Turnovers come in two types. What I call forced turnovers or mistake turnovers. This is a forced turnover. This is just a great play. I mean, what a hit. What a hit. I mean, you see, that is just crunching the receiver. The ball comes up, goes up in the air. Fred Perry comes down with the interception, but Mike Morreale, who got up, walked a few feet, fell back down on the turf, and right now is still laying on the turf with teammates of both sides looking on.
Former teammates in that collision, and Morreale still feeling the effects of the train wreck. That's his cousin, Paul Mazzotti, looking over him. They talk once a week. And this week, they didn't talk a lot about the game. But Pinball and Mazzotti with comforting words for a injured Mike Morreale. Morreale, under his own steam, goes to the sidelines. Mike O'Shea savors the hit. Will it produce points for Toronto? Barker drops the ball. And quickly they get back on it. But again, they went in reverse the last time they got down into field goal range, Chris, and every yard's valuable.
Well, especially when you start approaching the red zone or the 20-yard line into scoring zone. Right now, it's the second time that Jay Barker, getting close to that area, has dropped the ball or mishandled the football. This time, very fortunate to come back up with it again.
Well, at worst, they were looking at a 35-yard field goal. Now it's 38 against the wind. He's got to get some yards for Dan Jean Pola. At worst, Barker over the middle, and Andre Kerwin wrapped up by Lamar McGriggs.
You know, we just saw Mike O'Shea put a shot on Morreale. Now you just saw Lamar McGriggs just level another receiver. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of contact out here. Great tackling out here. And when we're this far up from the football field, you can hear the crack of the shoulder pads and the helmets. You know they're putting some effort in their hits. Just a great smack on Andre Kerwin.
Well, again, these are the top 2 ranked defenses in the Canadian Football League, and they've flexed their muscles all afternoon. Giancola will try a 36-yarder. Into the wind. And he's good. The rookie place kicker from Thorold has the Argos on the board. And he always wears his emotions on his sleeve. Well, rookie Dan Giancola has been quite a story this year. I think he wants to be a Walby Warrior, because not only does he get the Argos on the board, but he's got everybody pumped up.
Well, he could be a WWF promoter. Look at him in the crowd. That's what you got to have. You know what? And the biggest thing that we didn't show is when he walked off the field, the Toronto teammates rushed him on the field. Those 3 points could be very pivotal when they get the win and go the other way in this football game.
6:50 remaining, third quarter. Talked to him a few days ago, and he said he's been counting the days to this playoff game since they nailed down the postseason berth in week 16. Just like a kid waiting for Christmas, and he's been one of the fun guys in the league to follow this year. Amerson takes the kickoff. Prefontaine got the first touch on Amerson, and Andrew Henry brings him down. Let's join Scott Russell.
Well, fellas, Mike Morreale took that big hit, left ankle sprain, but he's been taped up pretty heavily, and Mike's going back into the football game.
49-yard line.
Boy, he was rocked by O'Shea, and I think there's more than the left ankle bothering Mike Morreale.
He just comes across, and Michael, what a great hit. What a put a shoulder pad in the solar plexus.
Hamilton starts at their own 49. They fake the toss. Bootleg McManus. Downfield Grant incomplete. Tight coverage by Donald Smith. The Ticats say the coverage was too tight.
Well, right now, Toronto's defense is doing exactly what they want to do. They're taking away everything that Danny Mack is trying to find right now. Going into this quarter, he has not completed a pass. He is 0 for 5 right now.
2 for his last 11, 13 yards, 2 interceptions. That is very un-McManus. Second and 10. High snap, look out! McManus got away and throws downfield into the Hamilton bench. A flag down. Danny McManus hasn't been sacked in 8 weeks, and hard to believe he wasn't there.
Chris, one of the things you've got to really look at right now is Hamilton came out, they're very confident. They thought, you know what, we've played these guys tough. We've had success against us.
Major foul, face mask, Hamilton 68, third down.
That's Dave Hack with the penalty. But right now, you got to start wondering, the guys on Hamilton's bench, even though there's a little more than a quarter to go, they're going to start questioning themselves right now. They're going to say, hey, guys, we can't wait much longer. We got a 7-3 lead, but really the momentum is with Toronto right now. They're the ones starting to move the football. They got the last points on the board. We've got to do something positive to change the flow right now, because right now, you can see they're getting a little tighter, and Toronto's playing with a lot more excitement and enthusiasm right now.
That 15-yard penalty to Hack, valuable turf for the Argos. Ron Lancaster's had players ejected in each of the last 2 weeks, and he was emphasizing no penalty.
You know what, and I got to wonder, because everybody said, why did Demetrius Maxey make those comments about Dave Hack? One of the things he said is Dave Hack always gets his hand in people's face masks. Did he not say that so the ref would look for that? That's what you got to wonder.
Pinball trying to spin away to the 33. 5 minutes, 36 seconds left in the third quarter. 54-yard punt, and Dave Hack simmering at the Hamilton bench.
Boy, he's a tough guy, and Ronnie Lancaster said this is the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of a character. Come game day, puts on a different face. There's Demetrius Maxey, who says this offensive line is very overrated. It's not as good as everybody thinks, and we've seen the war take places. See Dave Hack right now working on Jermaine Haley right there. Just pushing him out there, pushing him out. Then he gets his hand in the face mask. What he actually does is grab the face mask to prevent Haley from getting around the corner.
First down Argos, Tony First Up the gut. Gets a couple.
First of all,
You got a feeling, Chris, the way the two defenses are playing because of all the turnovers and the way and the situations they've been put in, that boy, a team that really gets one big break offensively could be the team that walks away with this football game.
Scott.
Well, here's the update on J.P. Darshaw. He is a second-year medical student, completed 2 years at McGill, taken to the doctors here in Hamilton, x-rayed, fractured fibula, left leg, done for the season.
Well, that's one of the downsides for the Argos today. And now Montford with a big defensive play on 2nd and 7 to force the Argos into a punting situation.
Well, Big Joe just runs a stunt. That's all they do. He just comes inside, takes a step outside, Philbrick goes outside. He twists back inside. Nobody picks him up. As a result, he limits Tony Burse's rush, and he gets back to football with the win. And they've got to start doing something with the win.
Not just a sack master. Prefontaine would like to match that last effort against the wind. They let the clock tick down. Flag down. Amerson trying to kick it outside, brought down at the 52, and that's a holding call against Toronto, just a 26-yard punt. So Ron Lancaster may have a choice. Does he give Prefontaine another chance to improve on the punt or not?
Holding. Toronto 68. Third down repeated.
Gonna do it.
You know, and a smart call of having him punt into the wind. They brought some good pressure. I tell you, Gerald Vaughn is lining up 2 yards off the center. Newcomer Jonathan Himbach, and I tell you what, he is introducing him to the CFL because he has run him over the last 2 punts.
So they'll try and improve on field position that was the Hamilton 52. Vaughn's already blocked one today. Good snap. Here's Aikens. He's got some open real estate down the sideline and taken out at the Hamilton bench. But Hamilton in great shape here after a 27-yard punt. Well, Danny McManus enjoying great field position here somehow has to jump-start the Tiger Cat offense.
Well, most definitely, Chris. He's got to start doing something. Remember, Archie Amerson's the only touchdown they've had on a blown coverage early in the first quarter. Since then, they've virtually been non-existent, this offense. Now they've got field position to take advantage of it.
Mike O'Shea over on his old bench. Ronald Williams bounced off one tackle down to the 33-yard line. He got 6 there.
Well, with the wind, they're in Ozzy's field goal range anyway, but this is an opportunity. We know they've had some problems in the red zone. The last time these two teams met here, they had to settle on 6 field goals. Did not punch it in over the end zone. You know, Danny Mack and the rest of this Hamilton offense would love to do that just now.
2nd and 4. Williams, short side of the field, can't turn the corner. And they'll have to settle for the field goal attempt. Brent Perry, who has replaced Glenn Young. Remember, the Argos missing 2 valuable Canadians out for the rest of the year, Chad Folk and Glenn Young.
Well, what I like here, look at that. I mean, they've got everybody on the outside. You're not going to get it right there. Look at Mike O'Shea is to the outside already. As a result, he forces Williams to bounce it out. The rest of the Argonauts defenders come over and force him out for virtually no gain. That smart play calling. What I'm really surprised about the Hamilton offense is they really haven't checked out all the situations where they see all the linebackers coming.
Osbaldiston for 3, and he's got it, restoring the 1-touchdown lead.
Well, this particular time of the game, any points are good points. And as you say, they haven't scored since the first quarter. So for them to get any kind of points right now, even if it's a field goal, is a positive sign for this offense. And it picks the defense up, because the defense has really been on the field a lot of the times right now because of the fact that both Hamilton and Toronto's offense have not really clicked well or much or consistently today.
Jim Barker's team gets the ball with the wind in 2:39. They've got the ball now and would like to chew up the rest of the clock here in this third quarter without giving it back to McManus. They faked it to Terry. Barker in trouble. Got back to the line of scrimmage. Chased down by Tim Terry.
Well, just a nice job again of the newcomer, Tim Terry. Watched him play the last time these two teams met here in Hamilton, and he had a great first game. This is, again, you just can't coach that. Staying in, not following the play-action pass, going the proper pass rush route. Does a great job of doing it and tracking down Jay Barker for a sack.
2nd and 10. And the Ticat defense urged on by the faithful throng in Hamilton. Barker releasing to Burse, nailed before he got to the 40. Tony Burse meet Calvin Tiggle.
Well, your offense in Hamilton Tiger Cats has got to be excited the way your defense is playing. They sit back, they rush, and they sit the linebackers back and say, Jay Barker, if you want to dump your pass off to Tony Burse, go ahead and do it. That's exactly what he sees. He can't find anything else. And as soon as he dumps a pass, boy, Lamar McGriggs and Calvin Tiggles come up and wrap him up like a sandwich and just punish him with good hits. See 45 McGriggs and Tiggle, who does what he does best, and that's terminate your progress.
He's been the Terminator all year. Prefontaine with what he hopes is his final punt into the wind today. Ticat receivers awaiting this at their 40. Block! Gerald Vaughn's got another! Jared Smith trying to knock it into the end zone. Argo's on it, but it's Hamilton football at the 2.
We talked about the fact earlier that Gerald Vaughn was working on the newcomer, Jonathan Himbach, this new snapper, because J.P. Darks is out. He's been working him over, running him over. What does he do this time? He takes him right back, gets him right back, bench passes him, doesn't get in there, gets right in against the block. That is pure Gerald Vaughn, and another great scoring opportunity for the Hamilton offense as a result.
He ran over a guy 100 pounds heavier than he is for his second punt block of the game.
They can't stop you. Kill him. Hey.
Would not be denied. And now, can the Argos mount a goal line stand? Williams right side. O'Shea there, and no signal. Jermaine Haley at the bottom of the pile. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 1.
Nice job of the Toronto defensive line getting underneath the pads of the offensive line of the Hamilton Tiger Cats and not allowing them to be pushed back into the end zone where Ronald Williams can score. Nice job. We got Jonathan Himbach, who got pushed back on the punt. He's been playing short yardage for Toronto.
2nd and goal. Williams, touchdown. Hamilton punt blocks have led to 2 Hamilton touchdowns.
Well, turnovers will win you football games, and we just saw an example of that. Gerald Vaughn has created the opportunity for both touchdowns. The first by Art Jamerson, and this one, the 1-yard plunge by big Ronald Williams.
Oz adds the point after. Barker, and it's a 14-point lead with 12 seconds to go in the third quarter. Ronald Williams led the CFL in touchdowns during the regular season.
And he just gets under there in the offensive line. The lead block, do a nice job. Chris Burns comes around, creates an opening. Ronald Williams gets it in there. And I tell you what, there, Warren Mazuka stands up, Fred Perry. It's all you got to do. Give the big man a crease. He gets in there, scores a touchdown, gives him a lead. Let's take a look at the bench. You think they're happy about this touchdown? Oh, yeah. They know what's going on right now.
Huge swing here. Like the Argos still maintain some momentum heading to the fourth quarter until the block punt. And the whole complexion of the game changes with that.
Well, turnovers are situations in a game you try not to have. We've seen two big ones. Again, Gerald Vaughn, Johnny on a spot with 2 blocks. That's what turns the tide of a game right now. And if you're going to be going into the wind and the defense is going against the wind, you want to have some sort of a cushion. Well, they got a 14-point cushion so far going into the fourth quarter.
Most of the 21, 873 on hand, enjoying this Hamilton lead. And the ball kicked by Ryan Terry, but gets an Argo bounce out of bounds. And a fortunate play for the Argos, otherwise they would not have enjoyed nearly the field position. 11 seconds remaining in the third quarter, and the ball will be spotted at the 45 for the Argos to start.
Illegal kickoff. Hamilton, number 3. First down, Toronto.
First and 10 from the 45-yard line.
Well, Hamilton has not had to drive the football today to score. They've used a block punt both times and quickly put it in the end zone.
Special teams.
And now the onus on the Argo offense to open up, and there's a completion to Andre Kerwan into Hamilton territory at the 48 on the final play of the third quarter. Argos will have to open it up offensively, take some chances, and atone for their mistakes on special teams. Ticats leading this Battle of Ontario 17-3 as we head to the fourth quarter in Calgary. They're starting to loosen up, and these two guys look awfully calm and composed. Two of the best, Don Matthews, Wally Buono, preparing for the Battle of Alberta in the Western semifinal, which comes your way next. Mark Lee, Glenn Suter, and Steve Armitage are ready to bring you that one. Second half of our doubleheader. En route to the Grey Cup game. BC and Montreal waiting for a decision on their final opponents. Ron Lancaster said the Argo special teams in Calgary, best in the league, might have been holding out on his own because they've been huge so far today. Argos, though, are on the move with Barker downfield, looking for Ryan Terry, but Rob Hitchcock had the best shot at the football.
It looked like he expected Ryan Terry to curl into the middle. Ryan Terry saw Rob Hitchcock and kept his route straight. Just did a little burn route, and as a result, pass went incomplete. Look at the stats. Time of possession virtually equal. First downs, you can see it's a defensive struggle. 8 first downs each. Yards passing favoring the Argos. 139-82. Danny McManus really struggling.
More offensive yards, excuse me, Chris, but Barker can't find anybody now off the fingertips of Andre Kerwan as Barker was circled.
Barker's pass intended for Kerwan incomplete.
Well, again, a nice job of the secondary and the linebackers of getting in their drops, taking away all the underneath patterns. As a result, Barker can't get the ball off, and the pressure from the front four. Campbell, McCready, who was in at the time, Montford and Perry just do a nice job. You can see him working. He's trying to go down the field, rolling off. There you see Montford coming in there.
Dan Giancola's longest field goal of the year was 54 yards. They could try a 55-yarder, and I think it's in his range, but they're going to try and pin Hamilton instead. Prefontaine's punt bouncing inside the 15. Aikens. Mike O'Shea among the tacklers at the 17-yard line. 35-yard punt. That's all with the wind. It's been a tough day for one of what the Argos thought was their key assets. Prefontaine.
Well, you look at that stat there, Chris. I mean, Dave Barker, 146 yards, Danny Mac, 82. And
somebody tuning in right now thinks the Argos are in the lead if that's the only stat they've seen.
Well, that's why there's three facets of the football game: offense, defense, and special teams. And special teams of Hamilton has got the lead for them today.
See if Hamilton can build on this cushion. Ronald Williams stopped before he could reach the 20-yard line.
What surprises me about Hamilton is, you know, when they first came out in the opening quarter, Danny Mac was throwing the ball. First 3 times he gets the ball, dump pass, spreads it out, really went horizontally on the field from one side to the other side, and then they've caught conservative. They really almost look like they're in a bit of a show right now. They're handing the ball off, almost doing a straight dive play, but nothing really that would evoke any kind of response as far as, yeah, we're going to get something done here.
Argos defense, Mike O'Shea can't allow many first downs now. Up pass behind the intended receiver, Flutie, and it is a quick 2 and out. The Argos needed it. Still a lot of time, 13-17, and the wind at the Argos back. They'll get it in great field position here.
Well, this is exactly what Toronto's defense wanted to do. Force Hamilton to punt deep in their own territory against the wind. As you say, pinball is going to probably catch the ball around midfield and then take it wherever he takes it. So Toronto's offense is going to get excellent field position to start. And as you say, every time they're up here now, and you mentioned Dan Giancola maybe kicking a field goal, every time you start chipping away at that lead, it may come down on one kick and you may win this football game.
I think it was a good call for the punt, though, because in this swirling wind, you miss a long field goal. Exactly. You give the other team good field position. Rush on Oz, but he got it away. Went down, but that was incidental contact, and Clements puts his head down and gets inside the 50. So Jay Barker in good shape as he goes back to work on offense. Remaining in the fourth quarter. 14-point deficit. In the history of these two franchises, there's been some dramatic come-from-behind situations. Danny McManus, the only player he will talk to during the course of the game is his filter. Cody Ledbetter, the backup quarterback, giving information from R.D. Lancaster, the offensive coordinator upstairs. So they're conferring while Jay Barker takes center stage. Barker dropped the ball. It's still loose. And Michael Gilbert's on it for Hamilton.
Well, Chris, this is not what you want to have happen in that opportunity. Your defense did the job. Pinball caught the punt, got you the ball inside the 50. For the third time today, Jay Barker has lost the handle on the football. He's recovered the first 2, but unfortunately this time he's not so lucky, and Mike Philbrick has snuffed a potential scoring situation for the Toronto Argonauts.
Well, he is recognized as one of the leaders of this Argo team. He's got the respect of every guy on the sidelines, and been a tough baptism of fire in his first playoff game. Ronald Williams slides off the pile for a few. But some people at home might be saying, what about Jimmy Kemp, more experience? But the Argos as a team just feel like Barker's the guy that can get it done.
You know what? Exactly. I mean, you see Mike Philbrick's joy right there, the triumph. He knows that he's taken or snuffed a potential scoring situation by Toronto. But again, 3 times Jay Barker has just lost the handle on that football.
Well, as I say that, it looks like Jimmy Kemp maybe getting ready to come in next series. Williams on second down, and he will be close to the first down. Needed 4, looks like he got it.
Kenzie, Daddy playing football. He's trying his best. What's up, Mom? How you doing, Dad? What's up, South Riverdale? We'll be back soon, baby.
A couple of Canadian interior defensive linemen, Philbrick and Campbell, the Mikes, celebrating the fumble recovery.
They look like those 2 guys on that Hoser movie, those 2 Hosers. With the stocking cap on his head like that.
The emotions starting to show on the Argo bench. Paul Mazzotti deep in thought. Ronald Williams again stopped up at the line of scrimmage. Let's join Scott.
You know what, guys? I talked to Jeff Fairholm down on the Argonaut bench, and we were discussing the number of turnovers in the football game today. Jay Barker, as you say, fumbled 3 times. He says there's no excuse for it. It's not that cold down there. He should be hanging on to the football game. It's just tough defense and opportunism on the part of the Tiger Cats.
You wonder sometimes about a quarterback's hands. I know a lot was made of, remember Tom Clements, a great quarterback that played in this game. They always said he had small hands, but he got to cold weather, he would drop the football sometimes. But it's not that cold out here. It's windy, but not that cold.
Second down, and McManus has a completion to the rookie Corey Grant. So the Cats moving into scoring position, moving in maybe for the kill.
And I'll tell you what, the nice thing about this play, Chris, is Corey Grant comes back to the football. This is effort. The ball is thrown low. He has to come back and leave his feet. Look, it goes down and grabs the football. Great concentration to take that football and not let it hit the turf.
Under 10 minutes remaining. First down of the second half for the Tiger Cats. Back to the ground, and Williams, a hole up the middle, and they'll push him ahead for more. Down to the 13, close to another first down.
Well, they're staying with the game plan. They said that they want to control the line of scrimmage. Toronto's defensive front linebackers have done a great job of stuffing the run, but they keep going back to the well, hoping to break one. This time they do. He bounces it back. Look at the cut block. Look at Dave Hack, 68 up there. That is what you want to do backside. You may not be at the point of attack, but the backside block of that offensive line is just as important, and that was shown fully on that play.
The far end of that booth is R.D. Lancaster, offensive coordinator. Williams again on second and a yard, and he plunges ahead for the first down, and the clock ticks, and the clock may be ticking now down on the Argo season.
Well, they're not out of it, and the thing, I hate to say it, I won't put a hex on it, but we've seen so many turnovers. The thing you got to worry about right now is capitalize now. Don't create another mistake. We've seen a lot of the ball switching hands from both sides of this team all day today.
Ronald Williams has carried the football 20 times today. 72 yards. Make it 21. Cuts back. Dunbrack was in that pile, and Williams inside the 10-yard line. They can get a first down without scoring a touchdown.
This is Danny McManus's favorite part of the field. How many times have we seen him right here inside the 10-yard line, and how many times have we seen him and number 82 hook up?
Second and 7. They'll stay with Williams, and he plows ahead. He'll be short of the goal line and the first down. Fred Perry ended up with the ball, but after the whistle. Now third down. The fans want Ronnie Lancaster to go.
I mean, the offensive line is just coming off. Look at these guys, turning guys, pushing guys, staying on guys, driving them back. Call it Coulter scores with Mike O'Shea, but unfortunately, you don't get any points for that one. Just a pat in the back from the O-line coach tomorrow at meetings.
Field goal unit coming on with Osbaldiston. 14-point lead. This would extend it beyond 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point converts.
Well, this is a big field goal right here. I mean, it looks like it's an easy one. The winds are swirling, but Ozzie loves this.
Looney the holder. And Ozzie puts it through. And with 7:01 to go, Paul Osbaldiston and the Tiger Cats have a 17-point lead. Well, the grim reality setting in at the Argo bench in behind Donald Smith is Demetrius Maxey showing his emotions now as this game is sliding away from the boatmen. Well, will it be Jimmy Kemp? He came in Labor Day and threw 3 touchdown passes in a loss. Also 3 interceptions in that game against the Cats. Osbaldiston kicking it downfield, and Ryan Terry will pick it up. Terry over the 45. And a good return by the running back. 30 yards. Jimmy Kemp does come in, and there are his numbers on the year. Late in the season, Jim Barker said Jay Barker was his guy, but now with Barker ineffective, the guy with a little more experience comes in to try and right the ship.
Why, Chris, I think it's just the fact that he's dropped those 3 balls when he wasn't touched. Those are killers. 2 of them are in scoring situation. Just can't have that.
They have to be aggressive now. First throw is a strike to Kerwin and a first down. Shino Prater, who's had a quiet day on the corner, makes the tackle. Under 6.5 minutes to go. Argos need a quick strike offense now.
Well, that's what you want to do if you're a new quarterback coming in off the bench, is have it work like that first play. Jeff Cummings a little shaken up right now, so the Hamilton trainers are out to take a look at him. Jimmy Kemp will go back to the bench and confer with the coaching staff. Jeff Fairholm, the receivers coach, make sure he's on the same page. They've seen things. If they've seen somebody up in the spotter's group, they'll relay that message to him. But he's been watching the game, and every quarterback will tell you they think they would do something different had they been in that situation to control the game. So we'll see what he's seen. We'll see what instructions he receives, and we'll see what he does with that information.
I say they need a quick strike offense, but this is a team that has scored just 3 points, or 5 points in 7 quarters against the Cats.
Well, they've got to do something, and as you say, time is running out.
So 20-3, Hamilton with the lead. The expressions at the Argo bench tell you part of the story, but we're not celebrating yet on the Hamilton sidelines.
Hey, let's go, Big D!
This is a crucial drive for the Argos. They have got to get some points this possession.
First down at the 48 of Hamilton. Kemp with time. Underneath Terry, flag down. Terry tripped up at the 42 by Joe Higgins.
And they're going to get an additional yardage on this play because I believe they're going to call, and I believe it's Joe Montfort for roughing the passer.
Roughing the passer. Hamilton will get the retrieve. First down.
Oh, another crucial mistake, a penalty at the wrong time. Don't give him anything. He's at the top of your screen working against Morgan. Just coming around, keeps working. Now the ball is gone. You can't touch him. Oh, Joe, you got to know better on that one. That hurts your team.
Keeps the Argos alive down to the 28. Missed snap. Kemp rolled out of trouble. He escapes. And Jimmy Kemp is helped out of bounds by Terry, and more flags. Terry had him out and then catapulted him into the wall. Tight wall here in Hamilton, and that was an obvious call.
Chris, the walls here are probably 10 to 12 feet from the line. So when your momentum gets you out there, and like you say, Tim Terry had him out there, catapulted him. We're talking concrete walls. Puts him right up there. But a nice job initially. Bad snap along the ground by Giaskis. You can see he avoids a sack by Joe Monfort. Now he takes off with the football. Terry's got him. Tim Terry's got him. But there, last second, he swings him in. Now he's got him. All of a sudden, swings him back behind him, head first, into the old M&M sign.
Well, the fans don't like the call, but that was an obvious one. And
well, more importantly, Chris, that's 30 yards on penalties. I mean, this is not a time you want. You don't have the game in the bag. You have 17 points left with 5:56. I mean, a 17-point lead, but you can't do this.
15 yards for cracking the whip.
But that works on a skating rink, but not here.
Inside the 15. Mitchell in motion. Kemp pumped. Now against the green to Burse, who can't hang on. Boy, I thought Daryl Mitchell was well over the line of scrimmage before the snap of the football. And the Hamilton bench was inflamed for a moment. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Jimmy Kemp has proven to be a little elusive back there. He's avoided the rush on 2 consecutive plays. Throws backside across his body. Tries to get Tony Burse, who can't squeeze the football.
Well, the fans at Ivor Wynn are in full snarl now. 2nd and 10. Kemp to the end zone. Incomplete. Andre Kerwin stretched out. He's been the favorite receiver today for Toronto. 6 catches. But that was out of his grasp.
It was out of his grasp, but a nice throw by Jimmy Kemp nonetheless, and putting it where nobody else but Andre Kerwin could have come up with a catch. This ball is designed to go to the corner. You can see it's right there. Just beyond the outstretched fingertips of Andre Kerwin. See the pressure, spin move by Tim Terry, 92. Pressure by Campbell to get in there. Nonetheless, an incompletion and now a field goal attempt by Dan Giancola.
Well, the 2 major penalties put it in field goal range. Giancola takes his steps. And puts his 2nd field goal of the day through. So once again, it's a 2-touchdown lead. And tempers flaring with 5:08 to go. Well, you'd think the Cats would be a little more wary of this kind of thing at this stage of the game.
Well, you can bet your bottom dollar that Coach Lancaster is not going to be happy with them when he goes into the thing. You know what? We played solid. We played a hard football game. Offensively, we've got to do some work. Defensively, we're really stuck there, but we can't give many opportunities to get back into football. And, man, you just got to hate taking 2 consecutive roughing penalties.
There's the scene at McMahon Stadium as the fans start to arrive for the renewal of the Battle of Alberta. Edmonton and Calgary again playing for the right to take on the BC Lions in the Western Final. Game 2 of the doubleheader coming up immediately following the conclusion of this game. Still 5 minutes left. Cats take over at their own 35. Ronald Williams. Cameron Chance amongst the tacklers after a short gain. Wiltshire there. And the ball in the hands of Jimmy Kemp offensively for Toronto. The rest of the way, it would appear.
Well, most definitely, they're going to ride their fortune with him now. They let Jay Barker take it for 3.5, and he just wasn't able to get the job done, and now they're going to go with Jimmy Kemp. But right now, more importantly, Hamilton's offense has got to put a couple first downs together. Just even if they give the football up, they're punting from a better situation.
This is where the win makes it feel like less than a 14-point lead. Williams tries this near side, and to the corner, Donald Smith makes the tackle, and they're going to mark him a yard short. Donald Smith saves the first down. I think the Argos got a pretty good spot. Williams is arguing the placement of the football.
Just a sweep play, takes it to the outside, gets, as you say, gets good blocking at the point of attack. Maybe a little bit of a shirt grab on Fred Perry, but he gets to the outside nonetheless. And as you say, Donald Smith comes up with a nice body tackle, limiting it to 9 yards and making it 3rd and short. Ron Lancaster, you almost wonder if he would go for it because he would get another set of downs. But on the reverse side of the coin, if Toronto stuffs them, and they've done a good job of stuffing the run all day, they'd get excellent field position. He says, you know what, if you're going to get some points, let's make it go the long way.
So we prepare for the 21st punt of the day.
That's the first time we've seen the punters actually earn their money.
Oz has earned his today. But this is a short one, and Adrian Smith fields it. That's why I mentioned wind keeps the Argos' hopes alive. It's a 24-yard punt. Toronto, if they can do the job on defense, will keep getting the ball in pretty good field position.
Well, that's the big thing. I mean, and I think that's why Coach Lancaster and the Tiger Cats decided to punt the football. They gained 20 yards. Not a whole lot of real estate, but 20 yards is better than starting at your own 40, making them start on their own 48.
3:19 to go. One timeout for the Argos, plus the 3-minute warning. There's time. Wide side throw, picked off, and Prater, goodbye.
Well, Chris, that should be the football game. Jimmy Kemp trying to go far side. Gino Prater jumps all over this football. He comes back on it. Ball intended for Paul Mazzotti. He's got it, and once he's got his hands on this football, nobody's going to catch him as he runs and romps into the end zone.
On a game dominated by the defenses, we shouldn't be surprised that they get involved in the offense too. That's the 9th touchdown of the year for the Hamilton defense.
Got their 26th interception. They get it done. They don't really throw that wide side. That's one of the reasons Prater plays the wide side, because it's a harder throw for the quarterback. It's a longer distance throw, and boy, he made Jimmy Kemp pay for that throw on that one.
The Alouette coaching staff can start breaking down Ticat film now. Gino Prater, the rookie out of Penn State. That's his first ever CFL interception. He takes it 55 yards for a touchdown. And the last time the Tiger Cats won the Grey Cup, Harold Ballard was celebrating, the owner of the Cats, in '86. Paulus Baldiston was on that team, and Cats have to win 3 in a row in the postseason to get there. They're a third of the way, it would appear, with under 3 minutes to go. Ryan Terry picking his way through to midfield. 27 yards. Danny McManus knows about Grey Cup heroics.
Yeah, you see back in 90 with the Winnipeg, teammate of mine, with Flutie and BC in 94, Mike Morelli, Toronto in 96, and Paul Ozzie, as I said, the Ozmeister, Osbaldiston, in that 86 Grey Cup.
Last second place team in the East to win the Grey Cup was a Wolby-led Winnipeg Blue Bomber team in '88.
You read it just like I wrote it.
And all the Alouettes are taking notes here. Say, what's all this Grey Cup talk, Ryan? They're out to that side, and it's incomplete as Kerwin pleads his case.
Cat pass intended for Kerwin, incomplete.
The one thing they have not been able to do, though, is spring Daryl Mitchell today.
Well, you know what? It's not even so much spring. I really don't think they've actually tried to spring him. I mean, they've thrown 3 passes his way. I think he's got 55 yards. He had the 136-yarder in the second quarter when he broke coverage. But you know what? When you got a guy that's this talented, get the ball in his hands. Things will happen. It's like not using one of your weapons. And I mean, it's frustrating for him, I'm sure, and frustrating for the Toronto offense as a whole.
Crossing pattern underneath to Kerwan. He's got a first down at the 43.
And you got to wonder, like Andre Kerwan comes across the middle, makes a nice catch, they get a first down. That's technically a Daryl Mitchell play. Right. But we haven't seen Daryl Mitchell come across the middle at all. He's basically been doing clearing routes, taking everybody deep, and everybody else is getting the ball underneath.
Into the hurry up now. Clemens had trouble with the shotgun snap again, or Kemp. And now Kemp trying to sprint inside and slides underneath what would have been a knockout punch from Chris Schelling.
Chris Schelling had his sights, and he said, everybody's been having fun on defense. The guys upstairs haven't really mentioned my name much, but boy, I tell you what, he was like a missile. He had his sights set right between the 1 and 5 of Jimmy Kemp's sweater, and Jimmy Kemp decided, I'm doing the hook slide.
First-year coach had some obvious growing pains with a rookie quarterback this year. 2nd and 8. Kemp downfield. There's Daryl Mitchell, complete at the 25. You know, just back to Jim Barker, he said, we're trying to win the Grey Cup and develop a quarterback in the same year. It's a tough thing to do.
Well, it really is. It really is. I mean, I think he's very fortunate to have a guy like Jimmy Kemp in the lineup who Jay Barker can learn from. It's a situation where both guys want to play. And you know what? Next year, you take what you learn here, you evaluate your talent, and you build up again.
There's a catch for Paul Mazzotti down to the 12-yard line. Well, are we down to the final 2 minutes of his great career, the all-time receiving leader in terms of yardage for the Toronto Argonauts?
Well, he does the job, and you know what? It was when they had Tyrone Brown and Daryl Mitchell come back, he seemed to get the ball a lot more, and then again, he's kind of been forgotten man again the last couple weeks. It's unfortunate.
They're looking his way again, and oh, he was rocked by Schelling.
Well, Chris Schelling, 2 plays earlier, was a missile headed for Jimmy Kemp. Jimmy Kemp hook slid. This time he said, I got number 88. I don't care about the numbers. They're a little higher, but I'm still going to do the knockout punch. And does a nice job of jarring the ball loose on Paul Mazzotti.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 17. Well, that was almost close to possession and a fumble. It was quite a collision. Underneath, incomplete to Mitchell, and now it's 3rd and 10.
I got to ask you something here, Chris. We've seen Jimmy Kemp come in halfway through the final frame here in the 4th quarter. He's thrown the ball Mookie Mitchell's way 4 times. Is it a comfort zone with Jay Barker that he just doesn't have the same rhythm going with Daryl Mitchell that Jimmy Kemp, obviously, who's a veteran, has? Because it seems like he's going to the well with Mitchell right now, where Jay Barker really did.
Last week he did. You know, come from behind win over Edmonton. Didn't happen today. 3rd and 10. A last gasp underneath. Terry's not going anywhere. Drilled to the turf by Joe Higgins, and the defense celebrates a turnover on downs.
Well, both defenses have played extremely well today. You got to give your hats off to the Toronto defense, and you definitely got to applaud Hamilton's defense. Both didn't give up any big plays. Special teams, the name of the game today, and turnovers. Those are the 2 big things that happened today. Gerald Vaughn with 2 blocked punts led to 2 touchdowns. But other than that, it's been a game of who can hold on the ball the last.
Well, the pinball, not nearly the bounce in his step that we're familiar with.
No, you'd still want to see him play, though, because he can still get the job done. He's a young 34 years old right now. And
You know, in the interview, he talked about accepting the fact he's no longer part of this offense, and you wonder why not.
Well, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You almost got to wonder when you got guys of his talent, his caliber. You can read, if you want to read between the lines, it almost said, you know what, if they would put an offense that I could contribute to, and I still think I can, I'd love to play again. He says, I won't play anywhere else but Toronto. That's the city I want to go to. He's a great ambassador for the league. By no means is he physically incapable of playing anymore. I just think he needs to be wanted.
First down for Hamilton as they run it out. Williams, a sidestep there, gets 5 yards. 68 seconds remaining. I mentioned early in the game that Hamilton 9-1 with 100 yards rushing. Ronald Williams, 105 yards on the ground this afternoon.
And a ton of carries. They just keep giving him the rock, and it's a great game plan.
26 carries, make it 27 off the right side. He's been a load. Well, this was not a typical Hamilton offensive win. And there's Paul Mazzotti. And I think it's more certain that we're seeing him for the last time than it is Clemens.
And you know, if you look in those eyes right now, you know he's thinking about all the memories, all the good times, the Grey Cup winning teams, the teammates he's played with, the friends he's created across the league. A great player. And you know he's going to be having fun and doing a great job whatever line of work he goes into.
12 years in a distinguished career after starring in Acadia for Paul Mazzotti. And now we look ahead to the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Montreal Alouettes in a rematch of last year's Eastern Final. This time, though, it's in Montreal's yard.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's in Montreal's backyard. You know the boys are licking their chops. This is a matchup they wanted. You can tell anybody they say, we'd rather play Toronto. They wanted to play Hamilton. They're excited about the potential. They match up well. It's going to be a great game next week.
McManus puts down a knee. He'll get to do it one more time. Not vintage McManus.
But you know what I like? If your quarterback's not having what I would call a typical McManus type day, a good team finds ways to win, and Hamilton have found a great way to win today. Special teams and defense did the job. They win the victory. They get to move on to Montreal. And hey, anything can happen in a one-game thing.
Danny McManus, Ron Lancaster, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats posting a decisive 27-6 victory in this Eastern semifinal. It sets up a rematch. Last year it came down to a last-second field goal. Can McManus and the Ticats get back to the Grey Cup again? It goes through Montreal, and right now we're headed to Calgary.